ugly right about now. I mean, if you look around, America falling apart, Earth fighting back, all these natural events, you know what I'm talking about? It's time for a mass awakening, spiritual enlightenment. Talking about?
I'm just trying to live my life, make it through these desperate times. Am I the only one who's wondering?
No, I'm not. Divine speaker, rhyme teacher, nine ether, timekeeper, bear witness for the blind creature. Mind reader, not college, God knowledge. It pop up like E. coli and Oddwallers. Now who can see me? I raise my kundalini, yeah, EOG, lowercase G-O-D, the snake charmer, great karma, tear through the fake armor. They gonna hate on ya. Well, I'm just trying to live it out. If it's money, I get it, but when I get it, I give it out. The original, stern individual, burning residuals, learning life. If you listen a little, you will learn a lot. You see, I oil in my Glock in the boiling pot. Many men dream dreams that are spoiled and rotten and betray you, loyal or not, royal thought. I'm just trying to live my life, make it through these desperate times. Am I the only one who's wondering? Nah, you ain't the only one. No, it ain't no place to go. We ain't going nowhere. We gonna make it through this one, you know what I'm talking about? It's just nothing. Now we gotta find the power in you. You gotta find the power in you. And I'm good. As I sat at my workbench, carving this marvelous sculpture for culture vultures. Ether utopia back in Ethiopia. What you wanna do? What you wanna know? See the power of the fire and wind, they come and go. But the earth and the water or the H2O, they remains the same. As I traverse the verse, collect money and disperse the purse. The worst first and the best for last. Y'all can eat now, but the rest for cash. And Ray beats stay heat. I'm just trying to tread water in 8 feet. But every time I look down, I think it ain't deep. If you're wondering, my third open, I ain't sleep. Town rockin' the brow chakra, headed to the crown chakra. I'm just trying to live my life, make it through these desperate times. Am I the only one who's wondering? We gon' be right here.
How y'all doing this morning?
That's real. I hope y'all ready, man. The original about to wake up, man.
Off the album called The Hyro Font
man. I hope you
by
know.
Casual. What's up, T Moolah? I see you up early. What's up, Teddy? You know how we do that hip hop and chemistry. And I try to teach them about that new crypto technology. How y'all doing this morning? We're gonna set this off. What is it? I'll be saying it feel like a Monday morning to me, but it's a Tuesday. Okay. How y'all doing? So look, y'all know how we do. Before we get started, we like to tap in, play a few tunes, get ready for the day. See if people up this early on the West Coast, it's 8:30. If you ain't up on the West Coast, I don't know what you're doing. I've been up. But you know, we're going to see if a few people roll in as I play a few joints. That joint was Where Do I Go featuring Nate and Thomas Pritchett on the drums. I'm going to play this Sunday's best as the people wake up and get ready for another good day of knowledge. What we're going to cover today, Let me tap in with y'all real quick. Tell you what I want to cover. I want to look over some ancient Egyptian attestations about Mediterranean people. Because some people say that Egypt was a Mediterranean culture. So we're going to dive into some first-hand attestations about the ancient Egyptian thought on Mediterranean culture, Mediterranean people, and juxtapose that with what they thought about Nubians and how it changed at different times, or what have you. But we're gonna try to get that in. But we ain't rushing into nothing. So I'm gonna play that Sunday's Best one time as we let the people get ready. Thanks for tapping in, tuning in. Let's get it popping.
Feels warm, it's enormous, now show 'em respect. The poems protect the text in the form of art. We brothers from different mothers that was born apart. Now you know how I do. I'ma throw 'em a barbecue, real saucy. My chef chop up beef, I'm still bossy. I'm still ahead of them, and they'll never recover from when we smother them. Like breathe in, breathe out. See, I broke up with mama once she took her weave out. Tell your wife and her friends, I like the skins, but with me it's paper only like recycling bins. See, I Jack Johnson jaws and Tyson chins. Only write with the righteous pen, I let the night begin. Smashrock got flavor like that neck bone plate that I ate in Decatur.
Getting ready, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. We're about to go over some of this knowledge information.
All the ladies looking at me as I roll by.
We also gonna tap into some economics. Talk some hip hop.
You can have it your way. Cause I manifest all the thoughts that been running all through my mind.
He popular now, they rockin' the town. If I come around, I'm knocking them down. Famo, don't go soprano, hit the opera sound. That's when the choppers come out, they put the box in the ground, and we don't want that. We had enough of that already. We can raise the energy up, if y'all ready. It comes down to the crown, twist Buddha, then I spit it through the fish shooter. The chick mover, bring thoughts to life. The mind's divine, it defines the process that designs the rhymes, and this one stay fresh. Sunday's Best, a song ain't really nothing but thoughts I manifest.
Fresh just like a Sunday, you know I stay fly.
Stay fly, ain't got to play.
All the ladies looking at me as I roll by.
Scripture ripples.
Show the way. Live by the rules and you can have it your way. Cause I manifest all the thoughts that been running all through my mind. Fresh just like a Sunday, you know I stay fly.
Tupac might have used that beat or
All
something.
the ladies looking at me as I
But I
roll
don't think it's
by.
from no Tupac track. What's up, man, himself?
Word, show the way. Live by the rules and you can have it your way. Cause I manifest all the thoughts that been running all through my mind.
You know what I mean? You stay that way, ain't got to play that way.
Manifest all the thoughts that be running through my mind. How y'all doing, man? So look, y'all know what the conversation's been. I'm still on my early morning coffee. Getting my coffee ready. Getting my swag right. But y'all been following the conversations, right? Let me see. Y'all been following what's been going on in the community. The resurgence of some conversation that tried to exclude black people from Egypt. So there was a lot of talk going on the internet about that. But it just gives us a teaching moment for the youth. You know what I'm saying? It just give us a chance, or we got some time, or opportunity to teach those who don't know what we know. We feel like, we've been over that. We've been talking about this for years. But actually, it's a teaching moment for people who don't know what we profess to know. You feel me? Yeah, I don't even know why. Like I said, I think that's just a popularity movement. People trying to get views, and they want to have a shock value channel. And so, if anybody say that all of Kemet was black, then that's like a blackologist. Hold on, let me turn on my light. That's what we call a blackologist. If anything was just like some things were actually all black. But whenever you go through the long history of an area that was conquered by many different people and just try to say it was one people there, you're already on your way to being pseudo. So even blackologists are the opposite of the European racists. They say they got these extreme arguments that exclude everybody else but themselves. And so I learned early in scholarship that I never wanted to get caught up like that. I never wanted to be looking like, you know what I'm saying? Like all of my research was politically motivated or motivated by things that had me trying to prove some other shit. But eventually, it seemed like other people, some people, like I said, I don't think it's genuine. I don't think all of the arguments that try to exclude black Africans from Kemet are genuine. So today I'm going to go over a few things about what some people propose that they got the sub-Saharan Africa thing that ain't real. And we could go into that. It's just racist science that somebody made up. And then they impose on that this Mediterranean culture invading race theory on Kemet. But what we never do, we always try to pull up what Egyptians thought about and said about Nubians. But very rarely do we look into the text to see what Egyptians thought and said about Mediterranean people. Specifically people from the Levant, people from the Near East. We got all different names for them in the Medu Neter. So why in nobody work are we showing, or is they showing, ain't nobody showing what they said, what they thought? We had a culture of people who came out of the Mediterranean and almost brought an end to, what was that? The Bronze Age? Am I wrong? The Sea Peoples? See, it ain't no other sea. We got the Red Sea, and we got what they call, we got the Mediterranean Sea. And so when we're talking about the Sea Peoples and what ancient Egyptians thought about them and how they dealt with them, we're particularly talking about, from the ancient Egyptian perspective, Mediterranean people. I mean, it ain't no Mediterranean people. That's stupid, right? It's different countries along the Mediterranean that some people call a Mediterranean culture. But it ain't, when you start saying Mediterranean people, that's like crazy. Because all different type of people live along the Mediterranean. So that's what I said. Somebody act like if you go someplace and ask to get some Mediterranean food and see if they about to give your ass some Egyptian food. Go to a Mediterranean restaurant, you're gonna get some gyros or whatever, some you're gonna be eating some lamb and some shawarmas and shit. Why am I saying that? I'm saying that to say what you are trying to encapsulate in Mediterranean culture when you talk about Kemet ain't necessarily accurate. But I'm not going to feed y'all with a bunch of my own Negro intuition and my thoughts. We're going to go into the actual ancient documents today and look at some of that. And we'll look at it close. We won't do the most concise examination, but we will definitely look at primary text discussing the ancient Egyptian view on Asiatics, particularly Asiatics and Mediterranean people, so you won't be able to escape it. I could tell you various different names for people of the Mediterranean, and I could show them also so we can corroborate all of this. And so that'll be a cool something to do for the day. But, it's the morning show. We talk chill. Just like I listen to a lot of talk radio. I listen to, not YouTube, I listen to a lot of that too, but I listen to AM radio, talk show hosts that might just be talking about various topics for a couple hours. I also listen to a lot of Christian radio for some reason. I like to hear them cite verses and give me explanations about the text. It's amusing to me. I just be sitting in my truck listening like, get out of here. And they got some preachers that be crazy. Not to be off on a tangent, but we just morning showing up, I see some things going on in the chat. What's up, Jamal J? What's up, E. King? What's up, Obi-Wan Kenobi? He says the people who make the argument Egypt is a Mediterranean culture don't even do in-depth research on Egypt in the first place. It seems like they're just saying petty pseudo arguments for attention. Exactly, Obi-Wan. Now, mind you, in taking Egypt up out of Africa, Europeans and Eurocentrists have provided a lot of material for pseudos to source. A lot of that, what I like to say, they like to fortify lies with books and stuff, you feel me? And so if someone is under a strange view like that, they will only think they're right because that standpoint has been fortified by so much so-called scholarship that when they turn to all these different books, all these old books, they may see other scholars saying the same thing. What's up, Hassan from the UK? They may see other scholars saying the same things, you feel me? But in light of new research and the more up-to-date research on the subject, they're walking away from those old theories. But we ain't. We ain't walking away from these old theories in the conscious community. Cats is actually bringing up old-ass theories that have been discredited. So we're going to have some fun. I'm going to bring up the JSS text editor just to keep on having some fun so we can see glyphs hella big. Let me see. JSS is a text editor where you can type glyphs using what's called manual decodage. And so if you started learning glyphs, you started learning some manual decodage. So here are a few tools for the trade. Now, and this is what I don't want people to start doing. Because I heard a dude do this on Garfield's channel the other night. He said he could read glyphs, yes, when he got the tools. That's something I used to say back in the day when I actually could read glyphs when I got the tools. But some will take these tools that we provide the community with in order to be able to do their particular research and then misrepresent themselves as if they're at a certain level. I mean, you say with tools, but I'm never providing these tools for us to front and act like we know something and teach to each other. That shit don't matter. Whatever. It's really all about getting to what we propose as the truth, right? But it's kind of weird when you see people misuse certain tools that you put out to help us get to the truth, just to represent themselves as some type of master teacher, super scholar, or what have you. Whatever. But we're going to get into it. We're going to start digging into it. So I just opened up JSS, and the other tool I like to use is the Mark Vigus dictionary. But every time I search it in my computer, it never want to pop up. I don't know what's up with that. So I'll go find it in a file explorer. That Mark Vigus dictionary, as well as TLA or Thesaurus Lingua Egypti. That's just for starters. The reason why we recommend this Vigus dictionary, because if you don't have all the text at home, like a lot of us do, that all of these dictionaries, well, this is a compilation. This dictionary is a compilation of about three or four of the best dictionaries out. He got Faulkner definitions in here. He got Gardner definitions in here. Oh, why they do that to me? Anyway, he got Faulkner definitions. He got Gardner definitions, and a couple other, I presume. So every time I close this, I'm just gonna continue with Google. Whatever, man. Hold on. He got all those different definitions in there. And so you can use the Vigus dictionary, which is PDF'd and searchable, to be able to do some of this work. But there's a lot of prerequisites to that. That's why when cats be like, with these, I can read it with the tools, I'll be like, okay, because there's a lot of prerequisites to be. First, you got to learn the transliteration, right? Then you got to learn, the, I don't want to call it the alphabet, so what are they called? The phonemes or whatever. You got to learn the alphabet, for lack of better words. And then you have to learn how to parse words. And one of the hardest parts about learning the glyphs is parsing words. But I came to this dictionary to look for a particular term that a lot of us might know, which represent. It's funny that look at what term this is on right now. Goat herd. Miniu unk. Or herdsman. Miniu or whatever. But it just popped here by coincidence. I'm coming to look for a particular term for Asiatics. And we've heard in a lot of, so I typed in Asiatic, and we're going to go over various terms, and then we'll get to the term that was most commonly used, and then we're going to go into the TLA and to see what was being said about these people. Now, here's a term that is commonly used for Asiatics, particularly people coming out of the East from the Egyptian perspective. Amu, but it doesn't have mu here. It just says but this is Amu. But it's just spelled one way as A-A-M or let's look at different places. Now here we got Aparu. As you see here, Aparu. And Asiatic people. Some foreign workers. Okay, keep in mind, this throw stick determinative has to do with foreign people. In light of the argument that ancient Egyptians were from the Mediterranean, we're going to examine attestations where Asiatics, again, are looked at as foreign people. And so we'll talk about it. We're going to talk about it. We'll get in on it, and we'll look at it from all perspectives, and we'll see how this argument lies on the material that we find for Nubians. See, you find stuff, and I'm just going to give you the answer. You find stuff, attestations concerning Nubians that are favorable. You don't find that about no Asiatics. You won't find, I don't want to be absolute. I guarantee you'll find very little ancient Egyptian primary text work speaking favorable about Mediterranean people, for lack of a better term. Because these are all catch-alls for people, right? So this is a catch-all for people from the East. Asiatics is the same, let's just say those Mediterranean people you're talking about from the East who supposedly brought all these things into Egypt. A lot of us don't argue against the fact. I don't argue against their presence there, but I understand their presence. So we got Aparu. We'll look into that term too. Aparu again. Aparu again. They're an Asiatic people. Aparu again. Set to use some Asiatics. Okay. In this name, they use a word for shooting, as we see an arrow going through a cow's hide here. Set to you, Asiatics. Aparu again. Amu again. Now we got Amut. Asiatic, Syrian, Semitic. Let's keep that in mind that they put Semitic there. So that all these pseudos. I'll go and play y'all some songs from 2010, 2011, when we was first putting that pseudo term on the map. Where you feel me, to where y'all wasn't even knowing how we was getting down back then. I said that in hella songs. But here's the Amu too, a plant. But particularly, we have it isolated in the definitions of the term Amu, Syrian, and more particularly Semitic. Be clear on that. The ancient Egyptian language is not a Semitic language. But yet, the modern day people in Egypt today speak a what? A Semitic language. We see here that some people noted that we call Asiatics, called the Amut. Amut, in this different dictionary definition, were Semitic speakers, right? Modern day Egyptians are Semitic speakers. Ancient Egyptians were not Semitic speakers. They did not speak a language that was even in the same language group or family, no way related to the language that the people speak there now. But the language that the people speak there now is related to these foreign people called the Aamu because it's Semitic. Tell me where I mess up in this presentation. Again, we see Aamu here And we see that determinative, and we don't want to go too hard on that because this determinative was often used for a lot of the enemies of Egypt, which is a bound captive here. And we also see the foreign throw stick, a throw stick which is used to signify foreigners. Amu. All right. And then don't forget, I Googled the word Asiatics. I mean, I didn't Google it. I searched the word Asiatics, so it's just we're going over all those attestations. It's pretty clear here. You're going to see these two Amu again every time that's an Asiatic woman. So basically, the main two terms we came to was Amu and Setu and Aparu. Remember, Amu, Setu, and Aparu. Here goes some more Setu. So, in order for us to understand, first of all, the claim is by the modern day pseudos is that the Egyptians is these people. See? See how we gonna beat them up? The claim is that the ancient Egyptians were these people that we see the ancient Egyptians talk about. You could not take this argument and superimpose it on our findings of Nubian relationships with ancient Egyptians, because we find ancient Egyptians actually calling themselves the same people as Nubians. As we went over the attestation brought forth from Neter-Neb, where the gods say they are Nihisu, Aset, Heru, and Waser, saying that they are Nihisu, saying that they that. All right, we find representations in the tomb of Ramses from the 20th dynasty, or Ramses III, I would say, where we see ancient Egyptians represent themselves the same as Nubians. And we will call that an anomaly. But the anomaly you need to be looking for is ancient Egyptians representing themselves as Asiatics. Because that's what you say they are. And they were. The Mediterranean people from the Near East that speak a Semitic language that they talked about. So this is why we got to address it from this way. And we're still only in the dictionary solidifying that all of the 33 attestations is going to bring us back to the Aamu. And here's just a foreigner. They don't even know where he's from, but you still see a throw stick and an elephant tusk. Okay? You see these two symbols together, and then these determinatives, you think they're talking about a foreigner. You see the throw stick and an M, and they saying Gim to find. But we see a throw stick and an M, they saying it's Asiatics. How one determines between these two, with no determinative there, you tell me. But here, where the determinative there is there, we can clearly see they're talking about Asiatics, and we're still on Amu. So we almost at the finish of the dictionary. So y'all, it's clear on that. Let's look at all the different determinatives they putting behind Amu. Where you see dude with something, either a cane he pulling from his head, he done fell over. He really got this throw stick in his head. That's what it looked like to me. This is the foreigner throw stick clearly in his head. Turned the other way, if you ask me. But some can say whatever. It's about war going on with the Asiatics, but let's talk about it. We'll go in on it. So now when I go into the text corpus, the term that popped up the most is the one that I'm going to look for the most. And I also want to put another term in here real quick. Mediterranean. Maybe I spelled it wrong. Let's let Google pop this up, because we don't want people getting away with doing that half-ass bullshit work and then don't even be having no homework. We want to make sure everything is everything. So, Mediterranean pop up 4 times. Let's look at this. A Mediterranean gull. And it's corroborating what I'm saying because it's starting with the same sounds, but it's like ama. All right? So the Mediterranean people or the Asiatics was the Amu. I typed in the word Mediterranean. It took me to a Mediterranean gull that sounded like the same thing. What is it saying? Ama. Let's go to the next term for Mediterranean. The Mediterranean Sea. Now let's be clear on this. This is Wad or the big green. But we got Wad Ha'u Nebu. That's the Mediterranean Sea. I said the great green. You see right here, it says the great green. This is the ocean to them when we start talking about the sea people. So when we talking about a sea people, remember what seas are around Egypt. Don't be thinking about when we fly to Egypt. We gotta go. You gotta go through the whole West Africa before you get to that. To them, the ocean in perspective was the Great Green or the Mediterranean Sea. So we don't see nothing about Amu in the word for the Mediterranean Sea because again, it was about it being the great green. We see a word for green and greatness here. Let's go in on Mediterranean some more. See what else pop up. That's all that pop up. So now we got some place to start from. We're gonna start, but I want to show you something though, just to keep it a buck. All of these terms, some of these terms we know, and some of these terms we don't know, but I'm just going to put Levant. I put Levant. Can I put Levantite? Levantian? I put Levant and it pops up twice, right? The Eastern Levant. Wabenu. The Eastern Levant, all right, but this is not, I'm going to look to see where these is Levant, but this is the terms I was looking at. But Wabin, they got that as Levant. Now let's put, I put the word Palestine in here, okay? Now, a lot of us know this term already, but this is a place name, and they saying this is in Palestine. This is Aki. And ain't that funny? Because in Hebrew, that's how you say brother. Aki. Aki. It is a place name in Palestine that we just going through a dictionary. We're not doing too much yet. But here's some of those a locality in Palestine, Sharuhin. Shah, this is the Shah sound. We get the earth from this right here. And then to me, I guess, I don't know where they get this from, but I messed up on that. And I see the N, and so they stopping at this. I guess this is the hen right there. And that A right there is just an A sound. But they left it out. So we got a Palestine. Core, this is more now. This is one you might want to, if you're taking notes or anything, this is a term you might want to put to your memory. Core. This is Syria or Palestine. It could be Khel, because this is not really an R. It's kind of like an L when we used it to say foreign words. That lion was used in a time period when the L was used to say foreign words, basically. So, but core, let's just keep core as Syria. Phoenicia, all right? Dati, they got all of these places, is what I'm showing you. They got something to say about all these places. You not going to find them saying they come from none of these goddamn places. You're not even going to find them saying they like the people from these places. All right? So I just want to be I'll just start from right there. So we're going to take it over from the dictionary to the TLA, which you should have bookmarked like you see I do. And if you do this research, and we're going to go in here and we're going to start with the first term. But why make it hard on yourself? Simply put Asiatics. Because since you clicked this button right here, you could do English. Did I spell that right? Asiatics? Oh, let me see. Dude, maybe it's my spelling, translations. Oh, I had a space after the word. I think that's what it is. Yeah, see, if you have a space after the word, it will do the same thing. So now we see we're back at the same term. Everybody following this should know by now. What if I asked you, what were the two main terms for Asiatics from the ancient Egyptian perspective? Excuse me. You're going to say Amu and Setiu. Remember that, right? So now in the text corpus, we can go in on these entries and start to see. So they got 79 attestations for this word. That y'all say that ancient Egyptians was Mediterranean people, right? And they've been there for years. Yeah, they have been there for years. And there, of course, there's a large contingency of ancient Egyptians who are Amu. There also is a large contingency of ancient Egyptians who were Nehesi. But the people who was there writing this Medu Neter wasn't these people. Because they telling you this. We don't like these motherfuckers. Keep them out our land. They keep running over our land. This is what they say. And I'm going to show you this shit. So I want to understand, where is your primary work? Everybody get up here and talk, but they don't do it like the squad. They don't show you this the way we show you. They just get up there and run that locker room talk. You know what I'm saying? And just, oh, you know what I think? Well, actually, you know this. I'm like, what? Show us something. So we're going to begin to show you something. We'll go over the 79 attestations that they got for A'amu with just Am. This is an A'amu. And it's written this way. They got it thousands of times, but written this way, they got it 79 times. So we're going to start, and then again, we're going to begin to show people what we're looking at here. As we tell my computer to translate this into English to make it easy on us, we'll begin to see that the pink is just a classification of the text. And this is a letter from the Elephantine archives. Is where someone was with an Asian. Well, let's read about it. I want to go in on this whole text, so I'm going to click text. And it's going to give us a 6th dynasty papyri, which is early, okay? A 6th dynasty papyri from Elephantine, the spells of a mother and his child. And we're going to see what's happening. Live safe and sound, but with the second. All right, so again, I guess this text must have some broken off parts. I'm going to read. It says, over here where there's a gap, they can't really tell you what it says, but they have Ankh Ujasaned, where they say live safe and sound for. But the secretary, some things are broken off. Your son, the only friend, Haka'ab, to let you know that I have tested for him, give in the ditto. That makes no sense to us, because this text is all broken up. But we're still going to go over most of the attestations to see what perspective we have. He said, your son there to me, The secretary ordered the scribe Anu, blank, blank, give there what is with the Asian of the secretary. So I'm going to go into the Medu Necher and see if we can get a little bit more. This is give, erdi, see, to give somebody something. There. Nt, to them or something. That which is, neti. All right, give that which is together with the a'amu, see? Hina a'amu. So it says, give that which is together with the a'amu. Hina is together with. If I make this bigger, we all going to be learning. You see this H-N-A. H-N, not really A, but something that holds the place of A. Hina. So it's telling them to give whatever is together with that Asiatic to somebody or whatever. But let's look and see what it's saying. Dang, I just made this hella small. Again, we got to bring this back to English. I went into the text. Make it a little smaller. Damn, come on, man. They're basically telling somebody, whatever. I won't get much out of this, but the secretary says, since I am the head of the estate, the secretary ordered the scribe Anu give that what is there as the Asians of the secretary. When we went into the Medu Necher, it's kind of like give that what is there with the Asiatic, and then we didn't look at this last term. M. Dot is like a book or a thought or an archive, they say. See, look, an archivist, give it to the secretary. So, again, give what is there with the Asiatic to the secretary. And it says, because of this, but the secretary said, since I am the head of the estate, I'm not going to get too far with this broken down attestation, but that's what we got out of that. And so we're going to go back and look at some other stuff. Now, this is the stela of Keti. Doesn't say anything about the time period, but it says, I punished for, well, they put in parentheses, him. But what that's going to mean is that word or that glyph isn't really there. It's broken out on the wall. Or they put it in greater than, less than, whatever. I punished for him Asiatics in their foreign lands. So we're going to read what's on the wall. It says, I punished for Asiatics in their foreign lands. But they're talking about for a king or something. So basically, this is a stela saying they punished some Asiatics in their foreign lands. You can find plenty of stelas saying they punished some Nubians in their foreign lands too. But in the sense of saying that we are Asiatics who came in and saying that the ancient Egyptians at this time period were these Semitic speaking people, I'm showing you that even to them, they were not those people. All right. And this is something I can't make out. A slaughterhouse was full of children and enemies. The sacrificial cattle consist of, can't make that out, Nubians. And all right, let's read this, because here we see something both. So let's understand how the enemies of Egypt work, and that at various times A'amu and Nubians both fell into what we call the 9 bows, are the enemies of Egypt. So now when we talk about periodization, here we go. Sensosis or Sensostris, whatever, the first. This is at a period of time about the 12th dynasty where he, whoever he was and whoever his family was, actually was not messing with the Nubians. He did not like Nubians. He was, most of the negative things that we pull out of, but he also didn't fuck with no Asiatics either. But most of the negative things that we pull out of the ancient Egyptian text corpus speaking negatively of Nubians comes from him and his son. Remember that. They take the text of like two pharaohs and one pharaoh and his son, and try to say that this is how ancient Egyptians felt about Nubians. But as you're going to see clearly here, he felt the same damn way about Asiatics. So it says, and this is one of those broken up texts too, so allow me to just skip through it to try to make sense of it. It's a dating formula taking place of the throne session in his palace of life, salvation, and health, or Ankh Ujasaneb, calling out the title of the king, which is made on these certain dates. It says, that penetrates into two countries. So they're talking about the king that penetrates into Nubia, possibly, and the Asiatic land, and we'll know that's because they're going to mention them later. And who kills the nomads, basically these Anun, who were like, they were bowmen of the desert. So he penetrated to two countries and he killed the desert nomads. See, all of these stuff, I gotta just fill this in. I'm gonna let y'all get the text bigger so y'all can see what I'm saying. You gotta fill certain stuff in because it's broken off on the walls. But since we know other texts like this isn't a coronation, but other texts that read the same, you kind of know how they address these type of documents. Or says, anyway, something regarding my project in some area, I expelled him who was, we don't know, against them, blah, blah, blah. We're trying to get to his sentiment on the Nubians and the Aamus particularly. Next. If I don't see it, it ain't no read for me to take y'all through this fragmented text because it's kind of a hard read and not the best display. Here we go. So the 9 archers. Who are the 9 archers? Oh, well, it doesn't say archers. So let's see if they messed that up by text. Yeah, they did mess that up, see? It's supposed to say the 9 archers here, which really means the 9 bows who are the enemies of whoever were the ancient Egyptians at that time. So we come to a part in the text where it says something about the river. Her heart is glad of his after whatever. Something by the 9 archers. Go over here. Kor, Ped, Wet 9 or whatever. Pad is bows. Wet 9 is 9. The 9 bows. Let me click this. These are the enemies of Egypt. Translate to Egypt, English. It just says the naming of a thing. 9 hostile peoples, foreign peoples. The 9 arc peoples. No, the 9 bows, so to speak. A pad is a bow. Paget. So now we're going to start talking about it. It's going to go in on a little bit next because we're going to be able to see who these people are now. Massacres of the 9 bows turn against you. The heart, it stretches out. The end of the steep. 2 magical rams. The god, the first primeval times. Something about a nature. Made for the Rechi people. Who is these? Humankind. Reki. Something made for humankind. Hold on, man. This one taking hella long. So basically, this is Zoroaster, again, a text about Zoroaster where we're going to see how he's addressing Nubians and Libyans. And particularly, I got some texts I want to bring up, like Ipu-Ur, and I want to talk about Ipu-Ur because it's not a real text. It's like a lot of these Ipu-Ur. A lot of these ancient texts tell you that they were not a real text by the name of the text. If we look at what Ipu-Ur means, we'll see that it's just a story telling us about a few things. I still don't see where we're getting down to these Asiatics, but it's a long one. But he doesn't like the Asiatics, I can tell. Here we go. And so we got here. So, who sees the commander who faces with no lower? Basically, the majority of this inscription is going to be negative towards Nubians and Asiatics, are the Semitic-speaking people who came in from the east or at various time periods. But right here, all we see something about Nubians and the Asiatic and the Asian burning here, and I don't know what they're talking about. We can't take that. We can't take that the wrong way because it's a carved up text. But here we see the superior who loved him, the fallen for Asia. Someone has fallen for Asia. Not we're bringing our people in for Asia, but more or less we're fighting with some people from these areas that are coming in at the time period. And they speak about the Nubian woman and the Asian woman, as they say, blah, 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 to the wife of the Lord. Blah, 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 the Nubian and the Magi recede, what have you. Regardless, as we see, Cirrhosis or Simroset, whatever you want, they call him two different names. He had the similar disdain for Asiatics coming out of the areas of the East as he had for his Nubians to the south. Okay? So here we see supposedly some Asians coming in as, if I'm not wrong, as captives. 1002 Aamu. What say you? Now this is doing Amenemhat the second, where they list the people that y'all say, particularly we can get, these are people from the Near East that they were folking with, that they list that they caught 1,002 of them in whatever type of war or what have you. I don't believe in that, those raids and shit, because it never. But look, number of prisoners brought from these two foreign countries. Here's 1,504 Aamu brought to Kemet. So what you guys are proposing is that these ancient Mediterranean people don't line up with, I mean, you see what I'm saying? What you're proposing about some ancient Mediterranean people coming in and teaching the ancient Egyptians, these Semitic-speaking people, don't line up with what the tales about these people say from ancient times. If you look at the map, the only way ancient Egyptians encounter Asians is through coming through whatever that little gateway is in the Levant type area. These are the Middle Eastern people they're talking about. But you guys are saying these are the ancient Egyptians nowadays. And again, we can see same type of wars go down with Nubians, and they say, oh, we caught this many Nubians. But the other archaeology and all the other attestations that we got about the relationship with Egyptians and Nubians will let us know these are two different type of relationships. Okay. And it says they brought. I don't even want to go in on this because I'm not reading the attestation. All right. But here we go in some other pharaoh, and this is Amherst. I'm not for Sinuhe. Let's see if this text is complete. It's from the 12th dynasty. So we're going to go over these dynasties and the periodization of this shit too, so people can't get away with it. If this is such a fragmented text, then I ain't going to try to read the whole thing. It is kind of fragmented, but we see is something that says Neferu the Venerable. Yeah, whatever. Misa Arta, that is like they say an army against the land. Misa, when I say I'm Magi in Misha, that's this word right here, or the leader of the Magi army. And something, the perfect God, and he brought captives. Next, he brought captives without her end, the situation that had arisen when they reached him in the evening time, he wasn't waiting for at all. The falcon flew up with his entourage. And it says, let's see what happened. I don't want to have to be reading hella shit that don't got nothing to do with what we talking about. So I'm just skimming over it real quick to get to what we're looking for. Because there's so many of these attestations. Y'all could go read each one for yourself, but we're trying to find how they address the so-called Semitic-speaking people in these texts. So I'm just looking to see when they start discussing. This probably would be a very good read, but you would have to do a whole show on this. I stopped here because I've seen it says, there is no one that can invert his arrows, no one who can bend his bow. And they're talking about the bold warriors up here, but we're looking for something in particular so we can get this understanding. Look, so here we go here. It's basically boastful. All of these tales be the same, how I beat up the foreigners or whatever, but they say the men and women pass by rejoicing over him, for he is the king. Already in his egg he has conquered, his gaze has been fixed since he was born. A multiplier he is, what was born with him. A unique one he is, the kind that God gives. How joyful is the land who dominates in whose dominion he has entered. He will conquer the southern lands, and for southern lands we have Su, Resi, lands to the south, or what Sut represents the south, and Resi also represents the south. Together, that definitely represents the south. But it says, but he will have no intentions against the northern foreign lands. Let's see what this is about. Now, this is someone, a king, who said he gonna smash the southern lands, but he has no intentions against Kasats, or Nin-Ka would be no, Ka-F. Nin is negation. And let's see, Ka-F, they calling this to think about, but he ain't thinking about the northern lands. But let's see what happened. But also to beat the Asiatics and to crush the Behudim, he was created. Oh, that's a checkmate. This is damn near a fucking checkmate. Because they telling your ass right here that you pseudos who be like, if you look on the Nama palette, you'll see that those Asiatics that Nama was crushing out was Asiatics. But I will bring you an attestation like this that'll let you know that they wasn't the same people, because it says in papyrus, if Amherst for Sinuhe in the Berlin Museum, we got an attestation where he's saying what he gonna do to the southern lands. Y'all call that, in y'all modern day terms, the sub-Saharan Africans, right? Or whatever. But he ain't gonna do shit in the northern lands. And if y'all want to go in here, we got Mehi. This is what I see for northern lands. You see northern lands are Tamehu, or they say May Tai or whatever. Right? But guess what he says? Look, he gonna funk with the South. He ain't gonna do shit in the North, but he gonna squash the Asiatics and crush the Baodeans. That's why he was created. So what does this tell you here? The Asiatics ain't in the southern lands, nor are the Asiatics in the northern lands, because he not even thinking about those lands. And this but also, we'd have to look in that. How do they put this in parentheses? To do, to make, to create, to act as. He creates a strike, or he gonna whoop your ass. He creates a strike to the Asiatics. See, he creates a strike to the Setiyu. Remember that term, Setiyu, that we looked up in the beginning? To trample. Nomads. It's telling your punk ass right here. See, not to crush the Baodeans, because it don't say that. That's just their translation. It say nomads. These are some Asian nomads that he talking about. Look, I'm not tripping off. I'm going to smash on the Nubians. This is what he's saying. He will conquer the Southlands. Let's look at the South. He don't say the Nubians. He say Sut Resi, Southern. So he's just saying to the South. And he ain't tripping off the North, but he gonna smash them Asiatics though. So I will use this to say that them Asiatics ain't in the North. They not the people of the North. And where they say Baodeans or whatever, Bedouins, it actually says, all right, let me see. Nim, yeah, here's the word right here. Nim Jasa, but I will go Nimiu. That's what I see. And then they say Sa. Nimiuasa. Whatever. I don't know that word. Nimiuasa, but it is some nomads. It don't say Bedouin or whatever. It told you what type of nomads they were. They were Asiatic. If they were Asiatic nomads, it followed the story of the Bible and shit. Right? So I'm going to get out of this attestation and go to another one. But this one is clear that I want to remember this is Amherst, Sinuhe, where he addressed the southern lands, addressed the northern lands, and then addressed the Asiatics. But y'all saying that these Semitic speaking people, who now we still got people there now speaking the Semitic language, but this language that this was written in was not Semitic. You get that? All right, let's keep going and keep building. Forget all them blabbermouth chats. I ain't doing no Zoom. Nope. I'm building. Y'all don't need to hear some other motherfuckers. Listen to me. So we're going to get back out of here. Right here. We're going to go to translate to English. Because the Asians should not bury you. We're going to just read over some of these attestations without going too deep into them. I uttered my victory cry on his back while every Asian roared. Amherst, Sinuhe, remember? He just got through telling you he was about to smash these Asians. We don't have to go into that. Amherst, Sinuhe, because the Asians should not bury you. They not Asian, is what you're getting out of that. And I'm not saying Asian, you thinking about Chinese people. We're talking about from the ancient Egyptian perspective. These are your Mediterranean people that y'all saying this is how he addressed them. Look. So now we're definitely going to do a whole show on this text, because this is a good one. It says, and his majesty said to the king's wife, look, Sinuhe has come back as an Asian, as a Bedouin creature. Bedouin creature. I definitely want to go in on this whole text, but it won't be good for this show. But I want to see what's going on at this part. This is okay. So I think this is the story where he has to be re-Egyptianized. Oh, let me see if Ujahu's around, or any might know in the chat. Let me see. Is this speaking of his Re-Egyptianization? Well, we'll definitely have to go in on that, because this will be a dope ass story to because it's saying some wonderful stuff that somebody left, and they saying he coming back acting like an Asiatic. And so if this is the correct story, he leave and go to some foreign land. Look, I came near the walls of the ruler, which were made to ward off the Asiatics. Okay. So we're still warding off the Asiatics. Fearing that the guard at which watched the house was on duty would see me, I ducked down into the bush. Yeah, this is a good story. Something about the Great Black. I had settled on the island of the Kim-Er that overtook. Yeah, I need to see. It says, when the Asiatics saw me, the sheik of them who had been to Egypt recognized me. Man, all of these stories is basically telling you. He said, then they gave water for me, then I went with him to his tribe. So this Asiatic tribe that met Sinuhe took him back. Okay? And he about to become a boss in their land. And I went to his tribe. Good it was that they did for me. So they did good for him. After foreign land had given to me on the foreign land, I also left Byblos and ended up in Katana. So this is Sinuhe again. I think this is the story that Ujahu was talking about. And he's going to have to be re-Egyptianized if I am not incorrect. It says, after spending a year there, so it says, after having spent a year and a half there, Amenasi, the ruler of Ober Intu, took me. He says, and he said to me, you have it good with me because you will hear Egyptian. I don't know what that is. But there go y'all Rodney Kemet. For all y'all who be hating, here go y'all Rodney Kemet. First of all, y'all hella stupid because y'all so dumb that y'all be saying Rodney Kemet. Y'all be saying Rodney. That's why y'all the complete idiots of the whole community. You feel me? That you don't even, I be laughing like Rodney blood. Y'all ask, I mean, I fucks with y'all, don't get it twisted. But that is some of the most, that's so nigardly. Rodney Kemet. So here it is, the actual term that y'all make fun of in the glyphs. Rodney Kemet. Ra is Ra. Ray. Not Rodney, bruh. Cats be saying Rodney Kemet. I be like Rodney Dangerfield. I'm like, how idiotic can we get? But in real actually life, look at what the word Egyptian. See? Rodney Kemet. So don't learn wrong. Learn right. You could be dumb, you could clown. We like that shit. It's fun. It's funny. But you're still supposed to learn something at the end of the day. I don't want you walking around saying, yeah, Egyptians called their language Rodney Kemet. Rodney Dangerfield. So we can clown and joke, but really get the teaching when you get in the teaching, as you just look hella dumb. Don't walk away from that argument with some shit called Rodney, R-O-D-N-E-Y, Kemet. That's the funniest shit in the world. So this is when you be the joke and you don't be knowing you the joke. And the people with right knowledge is they tapping elbows. Because they be like, blood, did you see this motherfucker wrote Rodney Kemet? But anyway, that's the joke. But if we just wanted to address this from the Medu Neter over here, we should know what these glyphs look like. Now, this is why I pulled up this text corpus to show y'all how this works. If you ever just want to read the glyphs, you're going to take that and pop it in JSHES, right? But see, some of this ain't manual decodage. It's going to get you close, but it ain't going to get you all the way there. So let me show you. Bow. So this is what it looked like on the walls. But where the words fell, you got to know how to go back in there and fix it back up. So you see Jedef, Nin, and now I can't read this because it's broken up. But it says Jedef Nin Ab Tu Hina Sajim Neb or K. But we'll go look and say Jedef, it say the same thing. See? Jedef Ina, just like I said, Neferu Tu Hina Injib Sajim Rodney Kemet. So this means to hear the Egyptians. Sajim K, he hears the Egyptians. I'm not doing their translation. With him. Something's with him. Hinai is with him. So Jedef, he said to him, something was beautiful with him speaking, and he heard the Egyptians. I don't know. I'm trying to tell you. Jedef, he said, look, to say. Okay? Jed is to say. F means he said. Any is to you or to him. E, to me. To me. I messed up. E is me. He said to me, Jedef any. So that was like Jedef any nefer tu. So if I just hit you off with Jedef any nefer toi, hina, see, you will know I said, he said to me, nefer tu. Nefer tu is good things, or nefer tu is good what? And what's the two? You good. He said to me, you good. I'm telling you, look. So that's why we do our own translations. Why am I wrong? So if I was like, what brother Ankh say? And I would say Jedef in the fair too. Or if I said Jedef in the fair too. But if I wanted to say when you're with me, I would say Ayu Hina E, just like they saying. But they say Jed F. You see this? We showing it. And then I showed you it in the glyphs. So really, it's really saying what I say. But Jedef, he said to me, you good with me. Come on, dog. Tell me I'm wrong. But see, that Europeans don't translate that shit to like, they do. And he said to me, you have it good with me. Nah, it's not you have it good with me, because we talk like Africans. And that's why I hate this shit. You say it just like a black man will say it in America right now. He said to me, you good with me. I don't want to hear that shit. He said to me, you good with me. Jedef any nefer tu hinaf hinai. I don't know if y'all say this J as an E or a Y, but it represents the I sound. Jedef, he said to me, you good with me if you hear Rodney Kemet, Sajim K, Rodney Kemet. If you hear the Egyptians, you will hear Egyptian. I can do my own translations. It don't say you will. It says Sajim K, you hear. But since this is in the form of a verb, to hear is, Sajim K, you hear. Sajimek. You put the ek, to hear is Sajim. See? SDM. This capital D represents the DJ sound. Sajim, if we just doing Egyptology speak. Here go your Rodney Kemet, Rodney Dangerfield. So you good with me if you can hear Egyptian, or you gonna hear some Egyptian. Let's not go into their translations no more. Let's do it this way. He's saying this again, look. But now he says it different. This says Jedef. He said to me. This says Jedef NJ. This says Jed NF. Nin Rek. So this is negation if I'm not correct. This is what he didn't say. But let's see. I might be wrong. Jet N is where I'm losing. This Jet NF. Because when you put the N before the F, don't it make a negation? I'm just going to try to read my translation and see. I know Nin is negation. These two N's. And then I see the glyphs. So this is what I see right now. See? Oh, this. So this isn't negation. This is this. So I might be wrong. But these are the glyphs you see when you see those two N's. I thought it was negation. I'm just going to read it the easy way. He said, first of all, I'm messing this up. Let's go see what it say. Jed, this is to say, right? But they put this N on the end. I know what's the name going to work on that. Somebody going to put it in the chat. This is something about people or knowledge. This is his knowledge. See, to know, right? To know. So look, he said this. He said no. He knows. He knows something. Cared about me. Cared E. What is cared? The nature of me. See? Golly. He say he knows something about me. Every time you do ancient Egyptian, they speak like Ebonics. And then Europeans go change the words around and they make it into English. But I'm showing you here, this shit speak like black people. Let me show you. Said he, this knowledge, his knowledge, I forgot what this word means. Nature, character, and then me. E is me. So he know my nature. He told me he know my nature. He said he know me. So look, Jedef Nin Rek Ninef Keri. He said he know me. Sajim F. He heard Sajim F. Shah E. He heard, what did he hear about me? He heard something about him, and then look, here we go, about Remet Kemet. These are the people of Kemet. This is the language of Kemet, as Ujahu points out. When we go into the Coptic, Rani Kemet and Remet Kemet, or the Remet of Kemet, are two different things. The people of Kemet and the language of Kemet. All right, so we're here. Jed, if y'all want to know what that looks like, it looks like this. It's this snake, but it's the snake that turns the tail down at the end. And this hand, these are two D's. The DJ sound is the snake. The hand is the D. Jed. We're reading this from right to left. Jed. All right, so when I say Jed here, you see what I'm talking about. So again, said, and then if it's an F, that's said. He said, this knowledge, his knowledge, or he knows, character, my character, he hears, I'm wise. I guarantee you this says I'm wise. So let's kick this. Wisdom. Blood, what you talking about? We do this shit. we really do this. And so this word right here, I knew that he said he know me and he know that I got some knowledge. Sha'ah. Well, shash. I know this word, the capital S. See, look, let me tell you two things. It's some ways that you can have hacks. Here's a hack. This is one of my hacks, and anybody who is in Egyptological grammar can tell you whether this is true or not. In transliteration, when you see two S's together, it's going to pertain to wisdom in both regards. If the capital S is in front, it's going to pertain to somehow a body of knowledge. When the capital S is in the back, it's going to pertain to written knowledge. See? Now tell me where I'm wrong. It won't be like that in all instances, but for like, if you ever doing just like I did, I just know the S's. And so since the capital S was in front, I knew it was talking about wisdom. If the capital S is in back, capital S represents the SH sound. Shash. But if the capital S is in the back, it's sesh, which means to write. These are hacks in the Metal Netter. I wouldn't talk to nobody learning the Metal Net. You got to be advanced or really knowledgeable on the subject for I would teach you in that way, because this could betray you, but it will be a helpful tool when you're trying to figure out shit like I'm figuring out now. As you see, I just used the tool to see that he said he heard about my knowledge. Now it says met in we Kemet. So I'm leaving this met we out. And I'm going to skip to the Kemet because I know R, you see that M ain't there because we taught you about the M not being there in the word Remech. So they put parentheses for the M. But if you click on this, it's going to say Remet Kemet are Egyptian, the people of Egypt, as opposed to Rani Kemet, the language of the Egyptians. So now, in translating this, I have to come back to met in we. All right, I'm about to say what that means to me before I go see this. Met, I'm at a complete loss right now. So I would turn to my dictionaries. This is how we do this work. At met, I'm at a complete loss, so I'm going to go back and open this up. And what do? We simply put an M and a T in here. All right, and we're going to tell it whole words and case sensitive so that it'll only give us words with the M and the T. There we have a urine. That's not the met we're looking. This die. Oh, I'm tripping. Met means death. I forgot about the met that means death. Let's remember these met definitions. This is met for death. I think it's going to be death. To die, to perish. Yep, to sink, to die is going to be met. I forgot met means death. I'm tripping. But I don't think it's going to be that one. Let's see. Met in we. I'm taking this we to be like a state of existence. Let's see. A state of existence. Me, but it's kind of like, it don't really has nothing to do with tense, but it kind of do. So met. I know they ain't saying they know about my death. Let's see. Met, to be present. Okay, so this is a different met, because, they put the TR, I messed that up. They put this R in parentheses, but the R ain't really there, but they told me that when I search it to use the R anyway, but the R isn't on the wall anymore. So anyway, they know about him and his presence, blah, blah, blah. Let's see what they say. For since he had learned of my good character, just like I said, and since he had heard of my experience, which the Egyptians who were there with him had testified for me, he spoke thus and said this. I didn't get that far. This is the there with me. Hena F. So the Egyptians remet in twut Hena F. Now let's go over here. Dang, see, I hate when this betrays me. Aha Jed, they said to me something. He said to me, hey, NK, what does this mean? To reach, to attack. They about to say it right here. Wait, he said, dude who was clever, you got to remember that he's in the land where he was just encountered them Asiatics. Now he said he knew him because he was wise and he knew he'd be amongst the Egyptians. And he said to him to attack by me? What does this mean? Translate. A particle introducing a question. So, all right, so this is Anu introducing a question. So this is like why. Look, because this says why, see? So this particle introduced that question right there. So he told him to attack why Keperit. Now, this is not going to be, this is an event. That which happens or comes into being, whatever. Let's see what their translation is. Why did you come here? Why have you reached this country? Let's be clear. I wish Ujahu was here because he had talked about this story a lot. Ujahu, if you in the chat, I'm going to open up a chat because you know this story better than me. I'm just reading it now. But the Amu or the foreigner is asking the Egyptian, I know you amongst the Remech. I know you speak the Rodney Kemet. What language are they speaking when they doing this, by the way? Because one of them was a Semitic speaker and the other one spoke an ancient Egyptian language. But he's asking them, why did you come here? Have you reached this company? Was there an incident at the residence? He meaning, did something happen in Kemet? Then I said to him, it is so that the king of Upper and Lower Egypt walked into the horizon and one does not know what happened because of it. So in this story, so-called the king of Egypt walked into the horizon and nobody know what happened, whatever. But as an excuse, I said, when I came back from the expedition against the land of the Timahu Libyans, I was told about it. See, this beating all the shit up people say, gosh damn it. We're perspectivizing, we're looking at who the Egyptians were to themselves. He is in a Mediterranean land now on his way. They recognize him as a boss. But he said when he got, the reason why he there is because the king of Egypt had cut or left. And he said, but as an excuse, I said, when I came back from an exhibition against the land of the Timahu. I'll go in on that, like these words, exhibition and shit. If this word starts Misha, then the white people is right when they saying that he mean a war. So let's go over here. I haven't looked at this doc. Look, Misha, see? That's what I'm saying. You can't be acting like people always fucking wrong. An expedition. Misha is the army. This word is stupid. What the fuck? Do our armies go on expeditions right now? No, but historically, when they say this word, they mean that they're going to exploit some shit. You see? And so I said before I clicked over here, if the word Misha is over there for expedition, then the Europeans who translated this could be correct. And it is, because he's saying look. So let me see what he really say. He say, Jed NF, I said, suit in Aoun or something about fighting with some, look, suit in, all right, look. See if I'm wrong. Translate to English. They got this as a particle. I said something about fighting with, oh, this is an untruth. I messed that up. So suit them, something about an untruth. This is coming or something. To come, there you go. To come. So some untruth is coming to him about an expedition to Mehu. What speaks of this untruth in their translation? But I said as an excuse. They don't say nothing about that. Anyway, what I want us to get clear is a few things. We're addressing everybody but the Nubians from this perspective. He's fighting the people. He came back from an exhibition from the quote-unquote Temehu, or the Libyans, or the people to his west. The king wasn't there when he came back from the exhibition to the west, so he headed where? To the east. When he got to the east, he accosted some people who asked him what was going on, and he told them that. Why did you come here? Why have you reached this country? Then I said to him, the king of Upper Egypt had walked into the horizon. Where's the horizon? It's not north or south. Well, no, I take that wrong. I said that back. That's the stupid statement. And the horizon don't mean where the sun rises. But that's what I took from that. So he explained it. So now an Egyptian who speaks a non-Semitic language is explaining to a Semitic language speaker that when he went to fight, what do Libyans speak? When he went to fight some people who spoke a Berber dialect, see what I mean? The Tamehu, when he went to fight those people, what happened? The king got cut. So he said, now he's in the Mediterranean area. Since my heart was weak and my mind was not, was not in my womb, it put me on a path of flight. So he's saying, I just cut. Fight or flight. And you want to go look in this, Abi, that's my heart. In my song, I say, Nefer Ab Ah Pafanuk Sesh Im Amin Ra. When I say Ab Ah, that's what he's saying. Abi. Abba. I said Ah. E. Abi. Abi Adu Hati Intef M Keti. So let's read this. I don't know this Adu word, but my heart, I do. I probably know this word. To fail of the heart, a failing of the heart. What is a failing of the heart? Since the heart was like your thoughts. Foremost, in front, Hatief. Oh, they got this for the heart. I'm sorry. I also speaking. So he's saying something about his heart and his mind. Yeah, just like they said. He was a punk. He got scared. Since my heart was weak and my mind, it was not in my womb, it put me on the path of flight. I hadn't been accused of anything, and a man hadn't spat in my face. He mean I didn't come to your land because I'm exiled or nothing. I heard no slander in my name, and my name had not been in my mouth of the herald. I do not know who brought me to this foreign. I don't know who brought me to this foreign land. It was like a sentence from God. Ninreki, I don't know. Ninreka, or in rek, knowledge. Rek is knowledge. E is me. Ninreki, I don't know. Any are to come. Any, right? To bring. To bring. To, I don't know what brought me. I don't know bring great. Or me. I'm sorry. Me. See, I don't read a lot of ancient Egyptian where the we is the me for some reason. I don't know what brought me to, this R is to, Kasat 10. Kasat, foreign, and tens is like this. See? Kasat 10. I don't know what brought me foreign, this foreign. It don't say land. It say, what is this? Ow, I'm tripping. Ow is like a tense. Me like God, Sakir Natir. It's like the plan of God, Sakir Natir. I don't know what brought me to this foreign land. Ow, me Sakir Natir is like a plan of God. Me like Sakir Natir. This is fun. I wish we was just looking at the actual glyphs of this, but we're just looking at the transliteration of it. And so I'm reading through this to say that we got him in this foreign land and we got all of these things. He's going to become a boss. He is the Lord of wisdom, unique in plans, excellent in commands. Departures and homecoming is only when he commands. It says, damn, that sounds like a rap. He is the one who conquered the foreign lands and his father and his palace, blah, blah, blah. This could go on for a really long time and take the whole stream. But what we're going to find out here is, if I'm not mistaken, he becomes prominent in this foreign lands, then returns back. Well, let's see. We're talking about the bow warriors more. Again, we get to he who could bend the bow. We went over this earlier, looking over a different part. But it's clear that from this perspective, the relationship that they had with people from the Middle East was not exactly the relationship that people nowadays say. They wasn't them people. Not from this perspective. We also talked about how he conquered the North-South. But let's see when he goes back to Egypt. Commit the fair. So now they're saying Egypt must be doing well. Then he said to me, Egypt must be doing, but look, you are here and you stay with me. Do you good. I'm going to do you some good. It says, he put me at the head of his tribe. He married me with the eldest daughter. What is this happening? This is Sinuhe, the Egyptian, being Mediterraneanized in a foreign land, okay? He ain't saying these my fucking people. He clearly telling you, I went to foreign lands to chill with some foreign people and I became a boss. But watch what happened by the end of the story. He put me at the head of the tribe and he married me to his eldest daughter. Y'all want to read that or not? We don't have to read that. It says, from the choices that he possessed on his border in another foreign country, he had me selected for me from his foreign country, whatever. A good land it is. Jah, it is his name. So he gave him a whole land. Shout out to brother Supremacy. I see the donation. I appreciate that. They said there are figs there, there's grapes, and there's more wine in there than there's water. So there's some, listen, there is some Asiatic land that Sinuhe said there are figs in it and grapes in it, meaning that where the land that he went from, possibly there were not many figs and grapes there, and there was more wine in it than water. His honey is plentiful. His moringa trees are plentiful, and every fruit is on his tree. So there you go for people who tried to hate on moringa. Again, this is also very good for anybody who wants to use the attestations. Use this as an attestation from the Egyptian standpoint towards Mediterranean agriculture. Because he's not talking about, I just want to keep it real. He's not talking about the land. He's talking about the land. It says the good land it is. Jah is its name. Well, he might be talking about the land. His, when they say he, they're talking about the land. But anyway, this could be a testament to agriculture or just fertility. Abundant was also that, shout out to Brother Supremacy. I see you. Abundant was also what came to me, along with what came in because of my popularity. So he was popular. He went to not the Canaanite lands. He went to the east. He went and chilled with the Semitic speaking people. He became a boss, just like we said. With the elite of the tribe, he made me a ruler of the tribes. Okay? But what is this telling you? I was given dead as a daily ration, daily requirement, well-cooked meat, poultry from the grill. Boy, he was chilling. Plus mountain game. Because they hunted for me, caught fish and birds for me. Plus they prayed for my greyhounds. Now let's talk about that. We're going to keep that in note, and we're going to look into that. Because Egyptians were not necessarily known to keep the greyhounds. That was a magi. That was Nubian culture. But they prayed for his greyhounds. Meaning they got food for them, I think. Not that type of prayer. A hound. Okay? Gifts and produce. See? Yeah, not that type of prayer. They brought gifts. They brought food, tribute for his dogs. Sweets were often made for me and milk was hot. And so basically he's a boss. I spent many years there while my children became warriors. Each a ruler of his tribe. Okay, so now this is an Egyptian who went and lived and became a boss in the Mediterranean land. And to prove it, it says here, the Asiatics who prepared to attack to ward off the foreign rulers, I advised their courses of action. So what does this mean? This Egyptian who became an Aamu was now, when he's talking about foreign rulers, he's now talking about foreign rulers from the Asiatic perspective. He taught them how to do war. Now this is a term I want y'all to dig in on. All right? Because we talking about an Egyptian who left Egypt because when he was fighting the people to the west, just like he said, he came back and the ruler had went off into the horizon. So he went east and encountered Aamu. Now, he's become a boss amongst these Mediterranean people, but he ain't in Egypt. He in they land that he described as fruitful with grapes and figs and all of these things. Now check this out. The Asiatics are, when we go over here, the Setiyu are, listen, take note that he didn't address Aamu. He always addressed Setiyu. Two different type of Asiatics, but they was Asiatics nonetheless. Here, something's going to happen. The Asiatics who prepared to attack to ward off the foreign rulers, I advise their course of action, because this ruler of retinue lets me carry out many missions as commander of his army. We have an Egyptian who went in the Asiatic lands who had a retinue. Okay? So retinue, I'm going into the dictionary and I put the word retinue and it pops up 10 times. What is this? Syria. So I love beating up the pseudos because we all around the Mediterranean. We all around it. Excuse me. We all in Syria. We with the Setiyu. He's an Egyptian who chilled with the Setiyu, who just told him the leader of the retinue helped him. Not help him, but he was leading Syrian armies. Syrian armies were being led by an Egyptian in the upper Mediterranean. Tell me where I fall off. Let me see. Where'd that go? Oh, that's because I got to close this. See? So he went to Setiyu, and some Syrian retinue had him be the commander of the army. We're going to find out he Magi. That's what we're going to find out. I bet you he Magi. Sinuhe, I bet you he Magi. I would put some money on that. See, here go that word, Misha, again. So when we talk about exhibitions, see this term, Misha? That's how I knew what they was talking about earlier. But we could start from this side, or we could read it from either side. Y'all think it's funner when reading from this side. Kasats, foreign, Nebetu, every foreign, and I'll show you, hill country, foreign land, okay? So we can read it from either side. Nebet, every, okay? So how often do we have to do this shit? Refuting, all right, that's gonna stumble me. Refuting, every foreign now I just don't know. But I know this is like every foreign man. Let me see. Refuting. To go away. All right, that was something I didn't know. To expel, to drive off. Rui. Oh yeah, them. Refuting, I expelled them. Every foreigner, I expelled them for him. For them. For her. She. I knew it was an S. I'm tripping. S's and T's feminized thing when they're suffixed. So she, for her. But who is her? It says every foreign land against which I attacked, I made my attack on so that it was driven out of the pastures. This is him still ruling in the Mediterranean. Okay, an Egyptian. He captured the cattle clan. He did all that. I was glorious in his hearts, and I love. He was known for he had known my superiority. He put me at the head of his children because he seen the strength in my arms. Coming of the warrior of the retinue, coming of a warrior from retinue by challenging me in my tent. So now one of them retinue, coming of a warrior from retinue by challenging me in my tent. So he said he had put me in the head of his children because he had seen the strength in my arms coming from a fight I had with a retinue who challenged me in front of my tent. He is a lone fighter. There is not a second because he had conquered the country completely. He thought he could rob me and he wanted to fight with me. So one of these retinues tried to come out. One of the dudes from Syria tried to run up on Sinuhe, the Egyptian who's living in the Mediterranean, and he's a boss. The people of the Setayu are the Semitic-speaking people, just like the people who are in Egypt today wasn't there. He went to go kick it with them. Anyway, with the advice of his tribe, he plotted to capture my cattle, this retinue dude. That ruler, he took counsel with me and said, I don't know him. So somebody just was like, he don't know who Blood was. Let's see what happened. Sinuhe is a boss. I'm not his ally, and I could go about freely in this camp. It is so that I opened its back entrance to the women's quarters by forcibly removing the enclosure of the camp. So who's doing this? So I'm saying it seems as if the other retinue ran up on Sinuhe, this Syrian Mediterranean person who was not respecting Sinuhe, the Egyptian, as he was a boss in their area. And then he went to go ask his either somebody told them that they didn't know Sinuhe, or Sinuhe went and asked. It says that ruler, he took counsel with me and said, I don't know him. That ruler, yep. Ned is to take counsel, or Ned is to take counsel with me. With me is Hena F. Say to me, no rec E. I don't know him. This shit hard, bro. So he like, I don't know, dude. But I can go about freely in his camp. His camp, yep. It is so that I opened the back entrance. So Sinuhe ain't no punk. So this new dude from retinue came trying to steal Sinuhe's shit. Sinuhe checked up and found out that the dude was like, bro, I don't know this dude. So he said, I went into his camp and he opened up through the women's quarters by forcibly removing the enclosure. It's envious because he sees me doing your missions. What does this mean? Now it just starts to get to that wordplay. Certainly I'm like the bull of the who oxen in the midst of the other herd. In the midst of another herd, a bull of a herd attacks him. The long-haired bull attacks him. Is there a little one who is loved because of his destiny to be a leader? There is no archer who allies himself with the lower Egyptian who can tie the papyrus plant firmly to the mountains. Damn, I want to break that wordplay down. But because that's telling y'all everything we've been saying. There is no archer who allies himself with the lower Egyptian. See, the archers are from Upper Egypt. The Magi. And there's another tribe of archers from Lower Egypt that I'm going to teach us about later, but it wasn't just the Magi. Somebody else had went and got these other archers because they wasn't down with Magi. I think it was Sarinput or somebody else when they took over Taseti. He didn't use the Magi. He used some archer's name that started with an H. What does that mean? Who can tie the papyrus plant firmly to the mountains? A bull does not, does he love to fight? And a lone fighter, bull does not prefer. See, this is the wordplay shit. If his heart is bent on battle, let him make his will known. So he basically saying like, so I'm this bull. Either this is him saying, but if you feel it, froggish leap. A bull doesn't, he love to fight. He's saying he came into the camp. He like, I feel like I'm a bull amongst a herd in the midst of another herd. The bull of the herd attacks him and the longhorn bull attacks him. Basically, it's going down. Because this other dude came into Retinue's camp, into Sinuhe's camp, but Sinuhe ain't no punk. If his heart is bent on battle, let him make his will known. Doesn't God know what is destined? It is him who knows what it's like. First of all, you're going to just go kill him. Stop being on all this God shit. Just go kill him. You feel me? But anyway, let's see what happens. It's him yet who knows what it is like. Having fixed tied my bow. There you go. Let's go. Having fixed tied my bow and prepared my arrows and sharpened my dagger and preparing my weapons, I went to rest. He getting ready. This about to go down. Fight this Mediterranean motherfucker. It says, when the land brightened, retinue had already come, and it has gathered its tribes. So let's be clear. Okay? Because we follow in the story that he left Egypt looking for the king, became prominent amongst the Seteyu Asiatics. They wasn't in Kemet. Okay? He went and helped the Seteyu Asiatics fight off the who? The retinue Asiatics. But it's going down now because this boss of the retinue came running all through Sinuhe camp. He went and talked back to the Seteyu. The Seteyu like, I don't know these fools. And so now, when the land brightened, the retinue was there. With their tribes gathered, it rallied the foreigners on its two sides, for it had planned this battle already. It says, every heart burned for me, while the merry women lamented. Every heart burned for me. That means motherfuckers was like, oh, blood, they here. Oh, blood, they coming. What you gonna do? Every mind suffered because of me. And they said, is there another warrior who can fight against him? Is there another warrior who can fight? They like, bro, you got somebody else that you could call? Because this dude got his people at the door. Thereupon he grabbed his shield, his axe, and his arm full of spears. It's about to go down now, bro. Sinuhe, if you're not ready, you about to get whooped by a Mediterranean fool. For after I had gotten close to him, let his arrows pass me without effects, once approached the other. So we got your boy Sinuhe dodging arrows now. But he had already got close to him. For after I had gotten close to him, I let his arrows pass me without effect. You let him pass you? You raw. One approached the other. What you gonna do to this Asiatic fool? For after I had gotten close to him, I got that. When he attacked me, I shot him. I'm a raw squad up. I told you he was a magi. But don't think this dude Sinuhe is an Egyptian archer. I guarantee you, before we get to the end of this damn story, he gonna bang the Magi. If he don't, then he don't. But when he attacked me, so imagine the brother Sinuhe running up on the retinue, pew, 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 arrows going past him, and he just stopped and pulled a bow, bow, hit his ass in the neck. When he attacked me, I shot him so that my arrow got stuck in his throat. Y'all want to read that? Kima. We'll see what Kima is. To approach. NF. When he approached me, shot him. I shot Seti, remember Taseti to shoot? Me, he approached to me. He approached to him, me. So I approached him. Approach to him, me. Shoot. I shoot. Shoot, is like a war word. Weapons, see? He shot his weapons. Man, Sinuhe ain't no punk. And he said his arrow, where's his arrow? Got stuck in it. He shot his weapons to remain in his throat. That's a throat. This is a throat. A neck. The nape of the neck, particularly. Okay? And you see the neighbor. We'll talk about that. But, so he left some arrows in his throat. He cried out, fell on his face, and I fell on him with my axe. Come at me with that bullshit. Now listen. I hit him with the axe. I uttered my victory cry on his back while every Asiatic roared. Who gonna roar? The Amus. Let's be clear here. So he addressed the Setiyu. He just killed a retinue, and the Amu is screaming for him. But who is he? Rani Kemet. Remember they said it in the beginning. Remech Kemet. Remember? So after he killed him, he gave praises to Mantu, who was an Egyptian god. Keep that clear, of war. So yeah, I'm a boss amongst the Asiatics. I done got raised over here, but guess what? I killed this retinue fool and I just praised the Egyptian god in Mediterranean land. I'm going to keep on saying that for y'all pseudos. Now, the ruler Amu Nasi, he took me into his arms and put me into his embrace. Thereupon I took his property and captured his livestock. How long? That shit be funny how they be saying that. They be like, dude, this ruler took me into... This is the same fool who was like, I don't know him. I don't know that fool. So I went and killed that fool, and then I came back and took this other sucker shit who was talking about I don't know him. Thereupon I took his property and captured his livestock. Yeah, I'll take that shit too. Straight the fuck up. We all African doing it just like that. So you telling me I'm in your motherfucking land, right? I'm holding down you, making me bosses and all this shit, bruh. And then some people run up. I ask you, who is this fool? You like, I don't know that fool. Do what you want to in his camp. The dude ran up on me. I go up into his camp. We start fighting. He shoot arrows at me. I put one through his neck. Then I hit him with my axe. And dude dead now. You standing over there a noodle. First of all, you wasn't helping me fight this fool. So when I come back, I'm taking your property and your livestock. That's some real shit. So what happened? What he had planned to do to me, I did to him. Oh, I take that back. So that ruler took him in his arms and put him in an embrace. But the property he took was not this ruler, Nazis. The property he took was the dead retinues. What he had planned to do to me, I did to him. I took what was in his tent, uncovered his bed. I became great by it because I was prosperous by my possessions and I was rich by my cattle. So now we got, I'm just far into this story because it's fun. So God did this to be merciful again to him who he was dissatisfied with, whom he led astray from another land. So I don't want to say whether that's God or not, but the Nachair always do shit just like God do. The Nachair is always some divine force that's doing things. Nachairs are not, they interact, they interfere. The same way God be doing shit. So you can't be like Egyptians wasn't spiritual. The Nachair were not real people, but they do things. Yet today, his heart is satisfied again because of his unfortunate circumstances, the fleeing of man. Yet my reputation is now in my residence, in residence, because of hunger. One who sneaks away. Yes, I can now give thy neighbor bread. A man leaves his country because of nudity. And I have now white clothes and the finest linen. Let's be clear about what he just said. A man leaves his country because of nudity. That means you just hella poor. Yes, I have white clothes and the finest linens. For lack of one who sent out, a man runs away. All right, so we deep into this story, but at least you can't tell, nobody can't tell you don't know the story of Sinuhe, but it goes on. For lack to send out one, yet I am now rich in servants. Let's read that. Anuk, I am Asha, Marut. Marut is servants, right? Marut, serfs, underlings. Underlings is a good way to put it. And let's see, Asa, how do they get this to be rich? Numerous. See, I got a lot of underlings. But however you want to put it, I got a lot of servants. Nefer Poo, Nefer Pur, Puri, they come good for me. My house? I'm tripping. Nefer Puru, yeah, his house is beautiful. I'm sorry. It says, far is my dwelling place, and the memory is in the palace. And the memory of me, my memory is in the palace. Look, far is my dwelling place. People be wanting that shit to this day. You always want to go get your house to be far out in the cut, right? But any God who determines this escape, may you have mercy and put back in the residence. Surely you will let me see the palace where my heart resides, spend the day, because what is more important than my burial in the country where I was born? You hear this? So he's basically wanting to go back to Kemet. Okay? He done fought for the retinues and shit. He became a boss. But now he like, I want to be buried in Kemet. It is a come to help that's a good day to show mercy. Does he do this to make worthy at the end of the ones he cast out, because his heart suffers for the ones he has transplanted to live abroad? Does he do this to make worthy the end of the one he has cast out? I would study this sentence for a long time. It is a come to help so that good may be done and God show me mercy. Let's see if the Necharu are really showing people mercy. And Neter Hetep, and God is satisfied. And the Necharu are satisfied. Miem Sa, Per Keper, Zep Nefer. Let me see. So he's basically contemplating not dying in a foreign land. And he don't want to be abroad, to live abroad. It is the case today that he is again gracious and hears the request from afar. He's talking about his king. Will he turn again to that country in which he has shaken that country to the place which he has brought him? May the king of Egypt have mercy on me. See, he's talking about the king of Kemet, and he's asking to let me come back. Look, I left Kemet. I was looking for you. I became a Mediterranean motherfucker. I'm not Egyptian. I mean, I can still speak the Medu Neter, but I'm with the Setiyu, I'm with the Aamu, and I just killed the retinue. I done did all this shit. But I want to go back home. I've been with the foreigners and the people who ain't from here. Is this not what you're getting from this story? I smited the Timahu, so I'm not Timahu. Sinuhe was not Temehu because he smited the Temehu. He's not Aamu because he helped the Aamu. He is an Egyptian. Aamu are not Egyptians. Mediterranean people are not Egyptians. They got their own name in every location they coming from. And we'll continue. So now you want the king of Egypt to have mercy on him, that I may live in his grace. I may greet the sovereign who is in the palace, and I may hear the tidings of her children. That my limbs may become younger, for old age has come down. So he old. Retirement, weakness has overtaken me. My eyes have gotten heavy. My arms have become weak. My feet stopping. My heart has grown. So he grew old as a what? As an Aamu. Living with the Aamu, but he want to go back to Egypt. All right? So how the hell you telling me that Egyptians was Mediterranean people when he got to go through all this shit that he's about to have to go through at the end of his life to even be buried in Kemet after dealing with the Aamu? My heart has grown tired. I am close to passing away. Then may they escort me to the palace of eternity so that I can follow the Almighty. Damn, that's crazy that they put it all like that. Come on, man. No, they called him the Almighty. See, my eyes is just watering like crazy right now. God damn, I gotta turn off this light. Sometimes my eyes just be, oh shit, I stare at this computer for too long, it's over. The Jer. I thought this would be Never Neter. But god damn, my eyes. The mistress of all. They called that the Almighty. See how that shit be happening? So now that if you're reading the Bible, you're going to think they talking about that. But whatever. She's going to come to inform me. Now that the majesty, the king of Upper Lower Egypt, was blessed but informed of this state in which I was in, it says, then his majesty sent me gifts of the royal fortune, and he should gladden my heart. He should gladden the heart of the servants there, like the ruler of the foreign land and the royal children who are in the palace. Let me hear their messages. So it says, transcription from the... My eyes hurt too bad. Transcription of the missive brought to the servants there concerning his fetching to Egypt. What is a fetching? So now they got some... They said fetching. To be brought back to Egypt. Bak-am Hor. Bak-am are these servants. Bak-am Hor upon bringing him Kemet. To Kemet. Bringing him to Kemet. To bring Him to Kemet. So, all right, so they're going to bring him back. Ankh Misut, I guess, is going to bring him back. Damn, dude. If my eyes, I got to go to, God damn, my eyes burning like, fuck. You know, sometimes I would be driving and my eyes will start burning like this. It'll get so bad I have to pull over, dude. Because I don't know. I got to get that. I got to see what's up. But here we are. Talking about some two mistresses. We talking about the king of Upper Lower Egypt, the son of Sarostus living forever, blah, blah, blah. Royal missive to retainer, Sinuhe. So they going to get that boy. Okay? They clearly going to get an Egyptian who had found himself for many years amongst the who? The Mediterranean people. He wasn't one of them. He didn't speak their Semitic language. He spoke the Medu Nachal. All right, and so now we got, they say, okay, I'm going to come get you, bruh. Like, look, they're coming to get him. So the royal missive to retainer Sinuhe, behold, they will bring you this missive from the king to let you know that after traversing the foreign lands, you finally came from I want to know what this is. Quatna to Retnu. But on the advice of your own heart, foreign lands gave you to foreign land. What have you then done so that action should be taken against you? Like, okay, I mean, we don't know if you ain't did nothing wrong. You didn't make any diatribe so that your speech should have been punished. You didn't say nothing wrong. It says you did not accuse in the council meeting of the high officials. Your testimony would have to be contradiction. So that you didn't do nothing wrong. He was not against you in my heart. It says, so they're going to let him come back to Egypt. It says, this is why in the palace she endures. She is consistent today. She was formerly as kingship, queen in the land of Egypt, and then children in the audience. You shall have a long life, the treasures of the king that they grant you, and you shall live on with their gifts. Make your way, here it is, to Egypt. Okay? So, Mr. Mediterranean man, look, I know you left Kemet and you want to be an Egyptian again. You ain't an Egyptian. You contacted me and told me I'm going to let you die in this land again, to be buried here. Buried here. Specifically, re-Egyptianized. Taking it from being a person living in the Mediterranean amongst the Asiatics in your Middle East areas or what you have it, back to being an Egyptian. Make your way, make yourself the coming to Egypt, that you may see again the residence where you grew up, that you may kiss the earth at the great double gates, and that you can join the courtiers. This is just one story that I got caught in, but it's a very good one. Because the day you start to grow old and you have you have lost the power of procreation, your commemoration, also the day of the burial, of going over the venerability. The night will be straightful with you embalming and the linen bandage. They basically like, yeah, we're going to bury you here, bro. The funeral procession will be carried out for you on the day of the funeral. The mummy shell was made of gold. The mummy's mask, the head was made of lapis lazuli. It says the sky is above you and you are lying in the coffin sled with cattle pulling you. You get to die as an Egyptian, is what they're saying. Singers are in front of you, and they will perform the dance of the departed in front of your grave. Okay? You will be called upon to make sacrifices, whatever. You will be called upon for Hotep. See, Hotep, look, they call Hotep sacrifices. That's why y'all need to learn your own damn culture. A recessionaries for the offering funerary meal. But what they say over here, if you don't look into it, sacrifices. Hotep is an offering. And they will slaughter before your sacrificial stalls. Your pillars will be built of white limestone in the midst of the king. Basically, you are a boss. And what does it say here? Because the Asians should not bury you. Remember when we started the movie? When we started the stream with this? God. So what does this mean exactly? Were Egyptians Asians from reading from this story? Were Egyptians Asiatic? Were Egyptians Mediterranean, at least in this time period? They let him come home because the Mediterranean people should not bury him. You shouldn't be buried in that foreign land. You should not be put in the ram skin. They was even going hard. They was like, man, we're not burying you like that. And one should not make a grave enclosure, circle stone for you, not make your grave enclosure. You feel me? They like, man, we ain't gonna bury you like they be burying these people. All this is more than shaking the country. Take care of your corpse and come back. The missive reaches. It's just like, come back, bro. So he like, when I got back, when it was read to me, I laid down on my stomach. I touched the ground and spread it on my chest. Exulting, I circled my camp, saying, how can one do this for the servant whose heart has strayed to foreign lands? So he was happy. I went and dealt with these Mediterraneans, but the king ain't even mad at me. But surely kind is the benevolent one who saved me from death. Your call will make me spend the end of my womb in a residence. Copy this reply to the copy of the reply to the missive. So that's a copy of the reply in their correspondence. So basically, we didn't went through the brunt of the story. We can get to the end of the story, but what do we have here? We have some Egyptian perspective in mind. You know what I'm saying? We're looking at a story from the Egyptian perspective about Mediterranean people. Regarding this, says, the servant of the palace of Sinuhe communicates in exceedingly perfect peace. Regarding this escape that the servant Da undertook in his ignorance. The Akkad perfect guard, two lords will say, behold, the raw flavor of favored of Montu. This is just some blah, blah, blah coronary stuff. They're going to say a lot of this stuff. Let's just get down to it. It says, because it is like something that's hard to report. Yet the great God equal to Ra made him who only saw. Is this the same story? This is just another story a copy of a reply to this missive. But they're talking about a servant who, the servant there is now in the hands of him who inquires about him. May this be given under the power. I don't know. Your arms are victorious in all the land. That just kind of threw me off. But I think I made my point clear there about the sentiments. Damn, this is raw. Because now I do have to read this. Because they're speaking in here. May your majesty therefore command that fetching should take place. So they're going to go get him. The Semitic royal title of Kana and from the south, and so all of these different people. And what does this mean? All right, so basically they saying all of these rulers, they're rulers who can certify their names and who exist in your favor, without mentioning the retinue, because it is yours as well as your greyhounds. You see what he's saying? I guess he's saying these other kings can help you on your way back here. I ain't tripping off the retinue because you already killed that retinue king, so they like yours. They like your dogs. But they said this escape that the servant Da undertook hadn't been planned. She wasn't also in my heart, and I didn't. So now is this another? This is just another part of their correspondence where some servant had escaped. They talking about, I don't know who separated me from my palace. I was seeing, it was like a dream state. A dream stella. I seen it on my dream stella. Here's the. Like sea in a dream. Like the Delta dweller seeing himself in Elephantine, a man of the Delta swamped in Nubia. Like the Delta dweller seeing himself in Elephantine, a man of the Delta swamps in Nubia. Let's go over this again. I don't know who separated me from my palace, my place. It was like a dream state, like a Delta dweller. What is a Delta dweller? Ion, it is like I don't see nothing about no Delta dweller. Man of the Delta. Interesting. You see? A man of the Delta having his own goddamn name, and we got 4 attestations for that. This is a Delta dweller. Four attestations. We're going to click into them attestations. It's going to be one of the ones we was looking at. See, it was like the dream state where we see the Delta dweller. Here's another one, like the dream state with the Delta. I don't know who brought me this foreign land. It was like a dream state. It's all the same thing. So this term that they got for Delta dweller, they have to corroborate that because the 4 attestations they got are all the same one. I was not afraid. So what do we have here? A story that tells us about a native Egyptian who left, you know what I'm saying, his country and then went and kicked it up around amongst Mediterranean people, conquered, ruled, became a boss, and then got brought back to Egypt to die as a native Egyptian. Now, I just see a term here. It says, then His Majesty summons a deserving royal architectural inspector. So I'm not on this research, but I want to teach myself, how do you say the royal architectural inspector? Or if that even makes sense. Effective, splendid. Because this don't say what that translation say. This don't say nothing about no royal architectural inspector. This is per in suits about a house. that we see. Pernisut. Where's the royal overseer of the field workers? Emmy okay. Okay, it's a long field workers of the palace. Emmy Ras Sec 2 in part. So field workers should be the Sec 2. So the field workers of the palace would be deserving royal agriculture inspector. They kind of doing good with their translations. Ships were in his train laden with gifts from royal fortune for the Asiatics who had come in my train behind me, escorting me to the ways of Horus. Uh-oh. Y'all know what the ways of Horus are? This was a trail. The way of Horus. Let's see what they say, if I translate it. It says, a fortification and a site on the northeastern border of Egypt. It's a trail. The way of Horus. And we know because of what he just said. They gave him gifts for the Asiatic who had come in my train, meaning behind me, escorting me to the way of Horus. Because he's trying to go back to Egypt. But he got to find this trail, and it was Asiatics. It was Seteu, the people who he had lived amongst for a minute, Mediterranean people, who helped him get back to the ways of Horus, or the trail back to Kemet. After introducing each of them, the Asiatics, by name, I set out and set sail. So let's be clear. He had them fools behind him. They got him there. They went through the ways of Horus. They must have got to the Mediterranean where he about to go back to Egypt. Because remember, he was in Seteu. All right? We got to keep this in the perspective. Look, y'all. This is how the story goes. He was in Seteu, which is up, well, that's Italy and shit. Damn. So he was he was way over here. So let me show y'all. First of all, let's keep in mind that the Mediterranean is hella big. I mean, if you don't know what you're doing and you wind up getting blown way over here, you're going to be way over there or something. But I'm going to show you where he was. He was in this area over here. All right? He was in this area over here. Oh, I messed up. Just to be right, we're going to say he was in this area over here. Really, he was, but I don't want to go over there. Just to go right, just to be right, he was in this area right here. I did mess that up. Syria right here, all right? Egypt is over here, all right? He set sail after coming through the way of Horus. It says, wind, air, breath. He set sail, basically. So he got on a boat. After he introduced all those tribes of Asiatics from this area that y'all be talking about, that y'all be saying was the ancient Egyptians, I'm showing you primary work of what they really thought about the people. He left the area. They left him back. They got him back. Retinue is right over here, so it works. He got on his boat and set sail to head back to Egypt. Then the servant Da sailed to the south. It was what? Then the servant Da sailed to the south. So first the servant Da was missing, remember? So I don't understand how the servant Da went from missing to being with him, but whatever. Then the servant Da sailed to the south. It was to sail to the ship with the servant. Oh, it was to sail to the ship what the servant Da did to the south. I don't know. But basically they sailed south, which is making sense. Each attendant was at his task. Bread was mashing up and they was just eating their food, whatever. So he back. He back in Egypt. When the land was lightening up very early in the morning, a cry came to me. 10 men came, 10 men went to my introduction to the palace. I bowed my forehead to the ground between the statues. The royal children who had been standing in the gateway came towards me, and they approached me. What's this gateway and shit? What happened? He went back to Kemet, man. Basically, you can read it all. He got back to Kemet and he was a boss when he was back. He had got re-Egyptianized, okay? Let me see. Then His Majesty said to one of the courtiers, put him up and let him speak to me. And His Majesty said, you have thus come back after you fought the foreign lands because the flight had taken hold of you. Remember that? Ooh. You forgot he left because he fought. He hadn't had no fight in him, so he cut. Fight or flight. But you fought for the foreign lands. He reprimanded him. But you have now become an old man because you have reached old age. The burial of your coats will not be small. You're going to have a good look. And your burial will not be done by the archers. And your burial will not be done by not the archers, bro. Stop hating on us. Pad too. Yeah, the archers. Your burial won't be done by the archers. So don't act against yourself. So don't act against yourself. The archers ain't doing your burial, bro. Oh, not the archers, the 9 bows is what he meant. Look, now, here we go. For all you square daddies, it took us like a year, but this is another checkmate. And His Majesty, and the king of Egypt, said to the king's wife, look, Sinuhe has come back as an Asiatic. God, this is checkmate. Or basically he's saying, look, this fool done left and he come back looking like a Mediterranean fool. But y'all said they was these people. If they was this people, what was the king of Egypt pointing out? When he said, look, and I can tell you what this is going to say in Medu Neter. Let's do it backwards. Because we be trying to read the Medu Neter to say what it's going to say in English, but let's see who raw enough to translate this into Medu Neter and do it right. So look is going to say ma. It's going to be an M and 2 large A's. See right here? So it's going to go ma. Then it's going to say Sinuhe has come back. That's going to be any. Sinuhe is going to say ma. Sinuhe any. Ma. Any me. Said to you. Ma. Remember. Ma. Sinuhe any. Said to you. Let's go read. No. What did they do? Oh, yeah, I am right. Look. It just started earlier with Jedin. It said, he says to his something about a servant. His Majesty said to the king's wife. Yep. He said to his wife, suit him. What? They messed that up. He said to his wife and Himtin Sutin. Yeah, the king, His Majesty and to his wife met. Now where's the look? This is that no, they messed that look up. Behold. So they said behold, I said look. But they said look, they translated behold into look. Behold. Zanet. Who the hell is Zanet? Oh, this is a personal name. Sinuhe. So behold, Sinuhe. Just like I said, but they said Iwi. Okay, it's different. He just said Amu. He looked like an Amu. He looked like an Amu. He looked like an Asian. So don't tell me shit. Look, Sinuhe has come back looking like an Asian. He looked like a Setayu. Kwama. His appearance, his form, his nature of Setayu, Asiatics. So that means the nature and the form of the Asiatics was not running around Egypt at this time period as there would be nothing for him to point out. Look, wifey, this fool Sinuhe has come back looking like an Asian. A set to you. She let out a very big scream. But y'all motherfuckers is talking about they was Mediterranean. But this is what they say about them people. Why did she let out a very big scream? She was like, ah, shit. This motherfucker look like an Asian. Not Asiatic. And the royal children were in a screech. Okay? We have to break this down for y'all. So because he came back, he was Egyptian. Because he looked like an Asiatic, he made the royal wife scream and the royal children screech. And listen to what it said. Then they said unto him, see, this is the story of Joseph and shit. Y'all be stealing other stories. This is just a flip around. The Bible flipped this story around. I'll start arguing that shit. Y'all flipped this story around, dude, and made it into Joseph. Then they say unto him, it is not really him, O ruler, my lord. And his majesty said, he really is. That really is that fool. But they had also brought their minute chains and their bow, sinstra, and their they had these instruments in their hand. So they presented it to his majesty, and they said before his majesty, your hands for beauty enduring in the king. So when he came back off the boat with all his people, it was like, blood, look at this fool, blood. And he gonna tell him. Downstream goes the upper Egyptian crown. Upstream goes the. Let's listen to this wordplay that y'all be acting like ain't in the glyphs. Downstream goes the upper Egyptian crown. See, Upper Egypt is Southmore. Upstream goes the lower Egyptian crown. So that they are united, complete by the word of your majesty. May one put the wajet on the crown of your head. So basically he giving that boy his props now that he made it back to Egypt, even though they pointed out that he looked like a damn Mediterranean fool. I hope y'all don't think this is it. I'm just going in. This is no place close to it. So now they talking about blessed with us, the son of the north wind, the bowman in Egypt. I mean, we got the story. We got the story, right? And this is Sinuhe, so you know the story now. But there's a few more things I want us to see in here. So only because he was afraid for you, he fled. Only because he was afraid of you, he left the country Egypt. The face of him who sees your face shall not grow pale. The eyes of you should not be in fear. His majesty, he should not be in fear. He becomes a courtier amongst the high dignitaries, or amongst the pot. It says, and he will be accepted and given in the circle of the royal household. So he went out to the audience hall, and the royal children gave their hands. Went to the large double gates. So they about to re-Egyptianize the boy. And the bathing room was in it, and the idols of the horizon mirrors, and the distinguished ones of his at affection in every room. Every attendant was at his task. The years were allowed to be made removed from his limbs. It says he just basically got younger. I got dressed and my hair was clean. The past of the desert was re-given the clothes to the Bedouins. So they took off they got rid of all the cloth of the Bedouin. He ain't dressing like Asiatic no more. I was clothed in the finest linen. See? The past of the desert was re-given. The clothes to the Bedouin. So that shit, I gave that shit back to their ass. I was clothed in the finest linen now. I was anointed with the finest oil, and I slept on a bed. Because you know the Asiatics always lived in tents and shit. So to point out that you slept on a bed and not a cot is really a thing. I have the sand to those who pull it through the pullers, and the tree oil those who rub it on themselves. The landowner's house was given to me along with what. So he's basically back. They gave him a house. Many craftsmen were built. He's back, and he's re-Egyptianized, except what the king's children had done. I don't have to go too much further on this, but if anyone wants to look into it for themselves to see, they start building for him now. And so this was a story of an Egyptian who went into the Mediterranean areas, and the culture was so different, as we see, that he had to become re-Egyptianized in order to die as an Egyptian when being amongst those Mediterranean people. So now, let me look at the chat, see if anything popping. I've just been talking. Yeah, it was another one. I messed that whole one up. What is the oldest mention of Nehisu or Retmech? It might have been when we was talking about it might have been, dang, in the Book of Gates, or way back then, in the earliest pyramid texts. Some of the earliest texts we find mentions of those people. Alright. You know what I mean? And so now we want to start talking about the sea people. Because you guys think y'all know everything. Look at this. Just look at this portrait. Every time I make something bigger, it just gets smaller. Okay, this is a portrait of Ramses. This is a portrait of Ramses, and using Egyptian and Nubian archers. Why would you say they're Nubian? Well, when we look into it, you're going to see. To fight off what we call what? The sea peoples. What was the sea to ancient Egyptians? The Mediterranean. All right. So these invading people, this was one of the worst times when these Mediterranean sea people tried to invade Kemet. The sea people were not Egyptians. The Semitic-speaking sea people, the Indo-European-speaking sea people, the Berber even speaking sea people were not Egyptians. All right? Particularly for this teaching, the Asiatics, the Mediterraneans who y'all say came in with agriculture, they were seen as a complete, distinct other people by the Egyptians. They didn't say these are our elders. They didn't say we come from here. The only people they said that about was Nubia, Ta-Nehesi, Ta-Seti. So I just showed you that a portrait first, and then we'll go back and read up on this. The Sea Peoples. It says the Sea People are a purported seafaring confederacy that attacked ancient Egypt and other regions in the Eastern Mediterranean. Let's take that back. The Sea Peoples are a purported seafaring confederation that attacked ancient Egypt and other regions in the East Mediterranean prior to and during the late Bronze Age collapse. Following the creation of the concept in the 19th century, the Sea Peoples' incursions became one of the most famous chapters of Egyptian history, given its connection with, in the words of William Max Mueller, the most important questions of ethnography, I repeat, ethnography and the primitive history of classical nations. The origin of the Sea Peoples is undocumented. But let's keep that sea in mind, what fucking sea this is, so you can see that how this shit worked for every dumbass person who say that Egypt was a Mediterranean culture. This is the sea that they talking about. The Mediterranean Sea. Egypt, people make you think that Egypt is right here. No. That's lower Egypt, the outsides of Egypt, the bad parts. The part we worried about less. Egypt is way down here and shit. Upper Egypt. Okay? It's not by no border and shit. You can't even see this goddamn ocean. You way down here and shit. So when we start talking about the sea people, the Mediterranean Sea people, they're coming in, obviously, through this direction. And particularly their people, since Egypt only borders the Mediterranean, you know what I mean, on its north coast, then the Sea People are a northern Mediterranean people coming into Egypt from the north. But to get to Egypt, they have to do a lot of shit that don't require no boats. So how we beat the Sea People was letting them float up the Nile a little bit. We let them get all about this areas, float up the Nile, not seeing shit. By the time they got far up to the Nile, stuck, we hit their ass up. We had the Magi archers come out, hit their ass up with hella arrows to where they couldn't even do nothing. But these people consist of different people, and it says the origin of the sea people is undocumented. It has been proposed that the sea people originated from a number of different locations, all of which are in the Mediterranean. These are Mediterranean people. Particularly the sea that they're talking about is the Mediterranean Sea. So if you want to put the long name on this, it'll be the Mediterranean Sea people. Originated from a number of different locations, such as Western Asia Minor, the Aegean. Where's Western Asia Minor? Where's the Aegean? You see? All of these motherfucking areas, were they really talking about Mediterranean food? This what the hell they talking about. Food from Greece, Turkey, and that type of stuff. There ain't nobody talking about no damn Egyptian food when they talking about Mediterranean food. That's some foolishness. And if what I'm saying is true, they will put it in that category, but it's going to say Egyptian food on the restaurant. Anyway, Mediterranean islands, all these islands in the Mediterranean, and South Europe. See? Although the archaeological inscriptions do not include reference to a migration, the sea peoples are conjectured to have sailed around the East Mediterranean and invaded Anatolia, Syria, Phoenicia, Canaan, Cyprus, and Egypt towards the end of the Bronze Age. These were not the damn Egyptians. These are the sea people. Nah, don't try to twist up arguments. Motherfuckers always try to do that shit. They try to say, no, that's what I'm saying. Oh, we're saying the same things. No, we not. I'm showing you that the actual Mediterranean people of those times, who you said the Egyptians were not the Egyptians. You're saying the Semitic-speaking people who are in Egypt now have been there forever. I'm saying no, they haven't. The ancient Egyptian language is not Semitic. It is a language isolate. And whenever we have language isolates, what do we have? A conquering people. Some people, some foreigners who come in that speak a language that wasn't related to the language that was there prior. French Egyptologists, blah, 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 blah. We start to talk about the sea people. But I want to go into some classifications of the sea peoples. Now you start to see these people. See, I didn't draw these inscriptions. This is how ancient Egyptians. These is your Mediterranean motherfuckers who y'all need to know. You feel me? That y'all say was there now to this day. They was not Egyptians. Okay, so we got Pelset. All of these names are named all the way to the Washin and the Meshwesh and the Sheridan, the Ticker. These are all Mediterranean peoples who were the sea peoples. All right, so let's look at this. This is the Ramses II narrative about the sea peoples. Possibly recorded a possible record of sea peoples general or in particular dating to two campaigns of Ramses II, a pharaoh of the 19th dynasty. It says operations in or near the Delta in year 2 of his reign, and the majority confrontation with the Hittite Empire and allies at the Battle of Kadesh in his year 5. The years of this long-lived pharaoh reigns are not known exactly, but they must have been compromised of the 13th century. All of the first half of the 13th century BC. Now, in his second year, An attack of the Sheridan or the Shardana on the Nile Delta was repulsed and defeated by Ramses, who captured some of the pirates. The event is recorded on the Tanis Stela, and number 2, an inscription by Ramses II on the Stela from Tanis, which recorded the Sheridan raiders' raid and subsequently capture speaks of the continuous threat that they posed to Egyptians' Mediterranean coast. The unruly Sheridan, whom no one had ever known how to combat, they came boldly sailing in their warships from the midst of the what? The sea. None being able to withstand them. So these Sheridans are some of your Mediterranean peoples that you are saying that Egyptians were. The Sheridan prisoners were subsequently incorporated into the Egyptian army for service on the Hittite frontier by Ramses and fought as Egyptian soldiers in the Battle of Kadesh. So if you want to take that time period and take those people coming in and say, see, look, these Mediterranean, yeah, that's what we said. But they wasn't the original Egyptians. See? Another stela, usually slided in conjecture with this one, is in the Aswan stela, mentions the king's operation defeating numerous people, including the Great Green. All right, look. That's beating your motherfucking head, excuse my language, which mentions the king's operation to defeat a number of people, including those of the Great Green. And that's specifically Mediterranean people. Specifically. Okay? That is specifically, look, the green color or the Nile Delta connection to the Mediterranean Sea gave rise to the words the Great Green. So if it's some Great Green people, these is Mediterranean people. Dumbass motherfuckers don't know who they debating. Why my shit be so checkmatey? Like, I mean, you trying to say they was Mediterranean people, but ancient Egyptians said they wasn't. So now we about to go in on this shit. Because look, you got it here. Dinyan. See? Here goes some of your Mediterranean people that you said we was. The Dinyan. Okay. Oh, dang, I closed out the whole shit. I didn't mean to do that. Damn. Oh, maybe not. Let me see. Prisoners on Register 1 at the these are sea people. Look. Is purported to be one of the groups constituting the sea people. What's the sea again? The Mediterranean Sea. So don't say Egyptians was no damn Mediterranean people. I don't care how you geographically trying to situate it in order to fool people. From the perspective of ancient Egyptians, they were no place close to those people. So we was in Ramses' narrative, and we start talking about the Sheridan. Then we went to Aswan inscription, where they clearly called them Mediterranean people. Peoples including those of the Great Green. So those are the Mediterranean. So shut up. All right. It is plausible to assume that the Tanis and Aswan Stela refer to the same event. Okay, so we just learned about various things this morning concerning. Oh, and I'm at my 3 hours too. We just learned about various things this morning concerning the Sheridan. We're just looking over this stuff. Well, and certain days we should just do only this and go over just nothing but glyphs and read and translate stuff. That's the wall of Karnak. And this is laid out much better. And it's something about it. So y'all see that, look, I mean, y'all damn near can read this damn near from doing our, the stuff we be talking about. Because you see the Remech, right? Right here. Remech and the people. Then you see the suit. You see these 9 bows. So Remech, Set, Pesejet. And this is like Ger, Hatief, Ma, Atem. I mean, it's crazy. But I hope we put forth a little good stuff. I mean, some stuff for people to understand. So then when we was looking at this, these people on boats, this represents what... Look at this like these people on boats are in the Mediterranean. These are Egyptians. He also has his feet on all of these 9 bows. He's standing on top of them. But they're clearly showing you that all of these sea people ain't us. Or we got beef with them. Particularly Mediterranean Sea people, I need to say. And that's completely 100% accurate. And then if we was to go over an inscription like this, we would see there again these different sea people that he got lined up here that ain't Egyptian. All right? So any of them arguments that these was light-skinned people from the north because of all of this admixture and all this fake shit, yeah, some of that could be true. I'm not taking away from that. I do believe that obviously the people mixed in the north because you could get some of these sea people in there, basically. And so this is a very good map of someone giving a breakdown to how the sea peoples destroyed hella shit, because they destroyed Troy. They was basically the end of the Bronze Age period. They destroyed all this shit. And they gathered more and more people with them as they was destroying everything. And they tried to do an inland invasion, as they show you, to now, as well as the sea people invading the Nile Delta at this point in time. But they got their ass whooped. There go your sea people. I gotta say the whole name. You see, Mediterranean Sea. There go your Mediterranean Sea people. Ain't no damn Middle East. Middle East is stupid as hell. So looking at it from Meripatah's narrative, we have this. And he also addresses people from this region. Okay? During this time period, they wasn't like, oh, our people... See, here we go. Let's talk about the Meshwesh. More Berbers now, Meshwesh. See, because if we go back to the map of how they invaded, the Sea Peoples picked up different people when they was coming in trying to get into Egypt. So at this point in time, we got some Meshwesh. Mash. Ah-u. Oh, they say this is Wash. Meshwesh. But who are they? Along the groups like the Libu and the Sinuhe. The Meshwesh were part of the On land invasion. And they could fight hella good. But they were coming from the west. They messed with the Sinuhe and the Libu, the people of Libya. See that Libu right there? People tried to say that them, whatever. I ain't gonna go there. All of these people ain't Egyptians. They became Egyptians, but they wasn't native to Egypt. So we was just talking about the Meshwesh. You can go in on the Libu. I was just looking for some of these names real quick. Libu is where we get the name Libya from. So if I click Meshwesh, then right here you can see Libu. Libu is where Libya comes from. But these ancient people here was trying to attack Kemet. So what that mean? These Berbers or whatever, North Africa, them wasn't the Egyptians either, motherfucker. Because they telling you this. You know that, right? But they showing, even though they look like this, that don't look like nothing but that could be a representation of a black person. But I ain't going there. This is a representation of a libel, a more accurate representation of a Libyan chief, yep. Okay? That wasn't the Egyptians. The Meshwesh, that wasn't the Egyptians. They all got down with the Egyptians and they came in. Look, the Meshwesh were of Libyan origin and explicitly stated genealogy contained on the stela of Pashur dated the reign of Shinwosek, where the great chiefs of the Meshwesh, including the kings of the 22nd dynasty, are stated to be descendants of the Buyuwawa of Libya. So there you have it. They say it. Before anybody was talking about Berber or anything, they say they're from the Buyuwawa. And the Libu Berber origin of the Meshwesh is also indicated in their personal names. All of these different sea peoples who wasn't the damn Egyptians. Egyptians, now we basically, what have we done? We've basically went over how they viewed people to every direction of them. And the only people that they ever associate with them are the people to the south. Even though they had a love-hate relationship with the people of the south, the only people ancient Egyptians really said was of them are people of the south. So I'm pushing on my 3 hours to start this morning because it's about to be 12 o'clock on the West Coast. And I'm about to get me some different type of work in real quick. But I hope we find some of these attestations useful and particularly my point that how you gonna say the ancient Egyptians was Mediterranean people when the ancient Egyptians told you exactly what they thought and felt about Mediterranean people and Mediterranean culture? See? And next we're going to beat up your pseudo-sub-Saharan Africa shit. That man, I'm about to do a little bit of beating that up. I don't care. I'm not rushing offline. I'm about to do a little bit of beating. Let me see somebody I subscribe to. Subscriptions, right? So is this one dude, I can't go see all the channels I'm subscribed to? Because I got to pull up this one channel of this guy who got a very good video on there, and I need to find this subscription. So I want y'all to see this video before I get up out of here. Because it's about that stupid sub-Saharan Africa shit. That shit don't exist. So I'm subscribed to all of y'all, as y'all see. But I'm looking for one page in particular. It's a history page. And I guess if I can't find it, I'm just going to wrap this thing up. I'm subscribed to all these channels, but I don't get no notifications from all these channels. I don't be seeing shit. I can't find it. I'll find it the next time I'll bookmark it, but it deals with the sub-Saharan African shit. And that's a whole nother video. We done pushed for about 3 hours. I ain't even gonna go too much farther than that, so I would like to just say that this is a collection of sources. Nothing I put forward should be taken more than just like a YouTube video with a lot of source references for you to look into. Damn, it's getting hot in the Central Valley. Boy, it's like 80 degrees. I'm about to start back getting on these skis, boy. Enjoy yourself. I'm about to get ready to end this stream, man. And go watch some other people's pages. If I got another topic I need to pull up or something else that I want to address about this, I will. But right now, I'm about to get up out of here. Let me look at the chat. I think somebody said something about, am I looking at the chat? Are you checking the chat? I just checked the chat. I was checking it every once in a while. Somebody said the Mesh West were white folks. Someone said the Remech means the children of the sun, ancient Egyptian Kemetiu. Sea people are Mediterranean people. Case closed. Aamu, Asian addicts. Thank you. So we addressing it. Yeah, sea people were definitely enslaved and branded by the ancient Egyptians and all kind of shit. Ramses put a motherfucking, his cartouche on their arm to let them know that you ain't coming in doing this shit. These were the people who brought down the Bronze Age period. They was the reason for the Bronze Age collapse. So they deserve to get branded. You motherfuckers is not re-assimilating into the society. See, when you did something bad in ancient society, you could re-assimilate to the society. But Ramses was making sure none of that happened, so he had the sea peoples branded. Because you need to understand that whole fight. The battle, is that the Battle of the Delta? No, that's not the Battle of the Delta. That's with Napoleon. But there was another Battle of the Delta with Ramses and the sea people where he just was like, you know what? Let them motherfuckers come down the river and let them think they doing something. And when they got them so far down the river, he hit them up with, I ain't done, fuck that, we're gonna keep going. Because I just thought of something we all need to know. He hit them up with hella arrows in the air, killed their boats, catapulted them, hit them with hella shit, and that was the end of the sea peoples. But the prominent ones on land who could fight, Ramses, he was like, y'all can fight for me. That's how you would do. Like, what you gonna do? Kill everybody, try to enslave everybody, or just turn them around and be like, all right, y'all with us now. And so I want to go into this text and I want to show you something real quick. Before I go into another text that shows what ancient Egyptians thought about Asiatics, particularly not being biased, because you can show me hella texts that they thought about Nubians, but show me some shit where they thought good things about Asiatics. There aren't too many of those texts that say we come from the Mediterranean. There's none of those. There are plenty of texts that say we come from the south. Taseti. There's plenty of Nubian deities telling you this. And so, if we looking at Ipu-Er, I'm just going to show you how I be knowing shit. First of all, Ipu. What does Ipu mean? We looking it up in the dictionary. It's not popping up. I put Ipu a different way, it's going to pop up. Ipu, these. Ipu, an account. See? An account, an inventory, a survey, a calculation, a list, a testimony specifically, a document, or a public record. Ipu, that's what Ipu means. Ipu, you got it as these attacks, but it's most prominently an account. What does mean? They said W-E-R. I'm just going to put the W-R. Or I'll put W-E-R if that's how they're doing it. Nope, W-R. Means great. See, the dua means great. Ta is the thionite noun. Ta is also a larboard or port side. Means great. So Ipu means the great account or a great story. Therefore, when I hear the admissions of Ipu which goes back to the late 12th dynasty again, what is the theme for all of these stories that I'm reading you about the 12th dynasty? Well, I haven't read this one yet, so you don't know. It is Asiatics coming into Egypt. So if you go into Ipu what you're going to find is him also complaining about the influx of Asiatics that was coming into Egypt. He talks about this. All these damn Asians all over the place. He like, what's up with all these Asiatics? So what that means is what? They weren't the ancient Egyptians. If we got texts from ancient Egyptians asking us what's up with all these Mediterranean people, then the ancient Egyptians should not be considered Mediterranean people. And I think I've done a good one on that one today. I don't know. I feel like breaking and going to, I want to watch a channel now as I do my other work instead of that. If there's anybody got any objections to anything, yes, I am looking at the chat and I hadn't seen nothing put in the chat since the last time you asked. So I ain't even tripping. But deal with it like that. Deal with it when you start talking about, yes, there is a coast of Egypt that touches the Mediterranean. But that doesn't allow you to say Egypt was a Mediterranean culture because the upper Egypt and everything was in the south closer. That's like calling Israel, that's not, that's like calling Libya. This is just because it borders the Mediterranean. These aren't the Mediterranean cultures we're talking about. When they talk about Mediterranean culture, they be specifically talking about people up out of the Greece areas and shit. But that's that. I'm going to tap out. I'd like to thank y'all for watching this morning. I ain't even need to play no songs or nothing. I just wanted this video up there. Let's go catch some fish today. I took out some of my RC cars yesterday. That shit was hella fun. I got hella RC cars. That's what I do. But I'm going to end this video and talk about other shit later. Thank you for tapping in. All right? Might go on somebody else's page and argue my stand.